Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We're here for the biggest game week. We're ready to rock and roll. All the draft modes are out. We've got 3D cards. We're playing with it all. And we thought we'd get the little shorter intro out for this deadline stream. We'll just get stuck into it like a dog eating beetroot. I'm Quinny, obviously, here for the game week deadline stream on the channel. And as always, and not as always, but as normally, joined by my co-pilot, Harry Trades. Harry, my man, good to see you.
Good to see you, mate. Yeah, buzzing. Buzzing for another deadline stream, and yeah, just another massive week of football ahead after this little international. Well, it didn't feel little, did it? It was 3 game weeks long, actually, technically.
It was a weird one, right? Because it felt like, oh, an international break's coming. This is going to take forever. And then quite a lot of the time when I actually looked at it on a calendar, I was like, it's only like 10 days or something. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But then living
it was
through
like midweek, wasn't it, technically? So like it was 3 game weeks, but like you said, yeah, probably only 10 days or so realistically. And I do want to apologize publicly for my well, I don't know what. Basically, I stopped you from winning probably a decent reward, probably a tier 2 rare card potentially in All-Star Rare Pro. But I stand by my thinking because, you know, half the things I said would happen happened realistically. But to be honest, I never expected Trubin not to play. I don't think either of us did we? I don't know. Maybe we did. Who knows? And then the Abada situation, mate. I mean, I don't know. That's just some bad luck there, mate. If we're being honest, right?
It's horrible luck. I wasn't going to bring it up because, hey, live by the sword, die by the sword. That's how it goes here, you know. And like you say, all the logic stood up. You know, I was convinced on the dynamics of it all, and everyone was in unison, even in the chat as well. You know, the logic was tight. You know, and a lot, like you say, and if you look at the leaderboard, under 23 rare was way less competitive.
It was a lot lower. Yeah, it was.
So, you know, like, hey, live by the sword, die by the sword. That's the game we are playing. Live and die by our decisions. And you kind of touched on it there as well, mate. But like, one thing I was going to say about the international break is when you're actually living through it, no matter how long or short it is, because like all the games are like one day, it just means that the entire game week is getting these big dead zones of like nothing's happening, and you're just waiting for deadlines to elapse. Like John tweeted yesterday, like, "Oh, see you for rewards tonight." It's like,
yeah, his whole mind is
it's just because there's like all this dead space in it where you think, "Oh, all the games are finished. This is the next day." You know, like the deadlines and that should be on the now, and it's you know, so like how many game weeks have we actually had? Like 3 or 4. So that's like a good, in terms of Sorare time, like 10 days of dead space, you know, or something like that. Which and Sorare time is eternity, as we know. You know, 10 days is 100%. Everything can change, you know. Fist bumps, by the way, to everyone that's joining us, nice and live and loud. SR Monkey, the patron sent off the chat. First fist bump to you, and he's already dropped in a wee limited giveaway reward that we'll do for interacting and getting involved in the stream somehow. So we'll come to that. And SR Monkey, a fist bump again. Thanks again for your generosity, my man. We will continue to praise you as the stream goes on in due course. And be sure to check out, of course, the Sorare Ramble, which I think should be got a new host as well, which I'm sure last time I've seen. Jay Riva, fist bump, good to, our co-host, good to see you. Scott Marshall, Jordan, good to see you, my man. And we'll be chatting a lot of things, Harry. You were mentioning it there just now. Fist bumps to everyone. There's Jonathan, good to see you. Is that if you actually look at all the fixtures we've got this week, it is a blockbuster weekend. There is fixtures all over the place. Like tonight, we've got, and we're going to get into the fixtures in terms of what ones are good and stuff, right? But tonight is Leverkusen versus Munich. We've got a Milan derby. We've got Lazio Juve. There's a lot of really good games in Spain. Depends on your appetite for Spanish football. But and then SO5-wise, there's a lot of good fixtures lying around as well. So anyone joining the stream today, I think there's going to be so much good stuff to get stuck into this weekend that dead zone like buffet that we've had for the last 2 weeks. It's going to be a distant memory very quickly after the deadline stream because, you know, Friday night is popping, Saturday is electric, and then the weekend rolls all the way. Like, I've got a team, almost a full team, Harry, right, of players from 3 different teams that all play on Monday.
Interesting.
You know? Monday, so this weekend is going to be loaded. You know? There's a lot of Monday football, which is... And then it's Champions League, you know?
Okay, yeah. So this is it now. This is like the... like leading up to Christmas now, isn't it? This is like midweek weekend, because obviously, you know, Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, Championship football, you know, there's just so much football now, you know, every day of the week almost, it feels like. And Yeah, no, I'm buzzing for it. What's Mickey saying there? Harry was rewatching from Feder last night. You trust in Bazunu? It's a Friday game, right? Mate, honestly, Mickey, and then everyone, there's so many games today. Like, I don't think anyone can avoid the curse. Basically, is what I'm getting at. This literally, I think I have a player in almost every one of my lineups playing tonight, which is obviously like I have Costa playing, I have Bazunu playing, I have Callum Doyle. Like I literally have one player in most of my big lineups, which, yeah, yeah, I'm scared. I can't lie. I'm afraid of this Friday curse, and I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, like you said, we've been starved of football kind of over this international break, and we have it all in one night. So I'm just gonna take what I'm given in that sense.
Hope the fellas raining through the live chat as well. And yeah, I think like I was enjoying that part of the stream as well when I was listening to you and Feder building teams and stuff, because Bazinu has been one of these guys that's been like a red herring. I don't know if that's the expression for it, but he's been one of these guys that ticks every box you'd ever want ticked, and then actually picking him and playing him in teams. The closest guy I've had a few guys over the years that have been like that, but goalkeepers like that are worse than a hole in the head. They are just brain damage. Like, you hate playing them. They never really come off. You kind of need to play them because of the expense. And then it's an under 23 guy, so you're probably not getting any other options around them. And yeah, man, when those guys pop off, but it should be worth it. So
yeah, the frustrating thing with him is like everything indicated that like Southampton would be great, but then I think you've got to just take into account like any Premier League team getting relegated to the Championship, no matter how many players they've kept. Okay, Southampton have lost a lot of their good players. Don't get me wrong, like the big ones, Ward-Prowse, a lot of the boys have left, but equally, I think you have to take into account that like. The morale of the overall team is just going to be lower than it is if they didn't get relegated. Like, the whole club is on a downer. Like, it don't matter sometimes how good some of the players might be in that 11 or whatever it is. For some reason, it might just take a little while to get going. But I think, yeah, this sort of, it's been a bit of a learning curve for Russell Martin and that Southampton team. And the problem is it's not just Bazunu. Like, he hasn't had any error led to goals or anything. Like, it's the team right now. They just are leaking serious goals, which is, a big, big worry.
Yeah, big time. So yeah, fair enough. And then you've got lots of Fridays. I've got a fair amount of Fridays. I've got lots of Mondays as well. And like we've mentioned, the actual weekend itself.
Your Mondays then?
Torino, Granada, and who else is in that team? Torino, Granada, and maybe Getafe or something like that. No, it won't be Getafe. Yeah. Maybe Celta Vigo or something. I can't remember. Mm-hmm. I did a few wee trades with Pavel yesterday as well. Did a few wee trades.
I did catch a stream yesterday. Yeah, I saw you. Yeah, chatting about who did you bring in? Obviously, you've still got the Lorente. Who is the latest one? Let me think. Don't give it to me. Who did you bring in? Oh, you fucker. Who is it? I literally watched the stream. You said you hadn't let go of the Lorente or something. That's the same.
Yeah.
You've brought somebody new. I've got it. Starfelt. Come on.
Starfelt. Yes.
Yeah, I needed that.
Aye. So I've done a wee bit of like condensing on some super rares. I feel a wee bit better about some of them, and I think it's. Why did I bring that up? Oh, I did a lineup builder last night, right? And with my lineup builder, Harry, I thought let's make it. It's kind of the same way I've did my last couple of lineup builders, just the way it kind of goes with the game week preparation and the kind of emotions we're going through now, building our teams every week. And just before all the stuff going around about like beating the lineup builder, and some people couldn't do it and stuff like that, and then people are talking about it being like a challenge. I just seen it as more of like an information source, and I just thought I would take on the challenge, as it were. So I've got a bunch of lineups drafted. We'll maybe review them again before the stream's over. Probably not worth anyone's time. If you do want to see that, there's a stream last night. And basically I built my own teams, and it's going to be me versus the machine. And it's going to be good crack as well. And I think like there's so many in this game week in particular, coming off the international break, going into midweek as well. One of the big dynamics that we'll probably be discussing as we're going through predicted 11s is minutes, because some key players won't be collecting 90s this week. They'll be getting 60s, 70s, 80s, and that is going to be a factor this week, isn't it?
Massive, mate. Honestly, I almost like I saw a tweet this morning and it said that, Enzo is just trained today. And I was like, fuck, maybe. And then I looked, I was like, okay, Chelsea play Sunday. Like, it's not as if they've got a Saturday fixture. They've got 2 days, like you've got to actually think, into that more than you would any other game week, coming off the international break, like you just alluded to. I think that's as important as anything, I think, is, distances traveled for international games. The South American boys will been playing in Bolivia and wherever, like a lot of the Brazilian boys played in Peru, I believe, in the last game. So yeah, and if they're playing in the Prem, then there's a lot of traveling. So you really do have to take that into consideration. And as much as Play Sharper might say this, and you think that, I don't know, you just got to be cautious. Is the issue? If you can't help but play them, then you've got no choice, have you? But if you've got other options, then definitely, yeah, just take them into consideration. Even if they might not be the better player in that sense.
Yeah. And there's a lot and then you've got the actual travel dynamics around it all as well. So there's a lot of moving pieces this week, Harry boy. We've got, we've been here for about 11 minutes without the big fat intro. So, I think it's about that time. Let's see the matchups tab, Harry. Let's see who's got the best fixture coming into the weekend.
Why would you want to know that? I wonder why.
Oh, wow.
Oh, what a coincidence.
What a surprise. Who's got the best fixture of the weekend? Oh, where to start? Well, we start with the best one.
I'm actually, it is, ironic that we do have the Celtic boys at the top of this list, but I'm just kind of looking on this. Are we used to seeing only like 3 teams above 80 win percentage, Quinny? Or is my eyes just like I feel like we see a greater list than that. Maybe I'm being stupid, but I don't know.
I think last week we definitely.
Short.
No, I feel like last week last week was internationals, of course, but the last normal game week, it did feel like the top 15 were all like, oofed, man. That's a stack. Massive. That's a stack. That's a play. You could do that. There was tons last week. And it did feel like it was just, I think I heard Laird say it quite good on one of his shows, but like there was so many fixtures that weekend that like when you buy those cards, that's the fixture you've got a bullseye on, like I'm playing them that week, kind of thing. So 100%. Maybe there's just a wee bit less of them this week, particularly with some other stuff going around. It's maybe influencing the severity of the betting odds, maybe some other bits and pieces that might go into the makeup of all that.
100%. The first thing, like the first glancing thing for me is the lack of champion Europe teams in that top sort of 8 or 9 or whatever we're going to call it. Let's just put Tottenham in there. There's obviously you've got Leipzig and Tottenham, but other than that, it's basically America slash Challenger, which is probably not a shock, but that does a bit of a telling sign in the sense that Challenger's probably going to be very competitive, as it always really is. And I think stack wise, like you said, if you watch me and Feder last night, Feder's got like his Sporting stack, then he's got his Dynamo stack, and they're both in this top 8. You've got your Celtic stack. Like imagine how many of these Challenger stacks are going to be, whether that's a half stack, whether that's a full stack, whatever it is. I think that's going to be where we're going to see those mega scores this weekend. I really, just judging off this, I know we're not fully into all the the matchups, but it seems like Champion might be a little bit lower scoring this weekend on the surface of things. But I don't know what you think about that.
I was actually thinking that building my teams this week because, like, if you look at if you just itemize the champion fixtures when you go into Sorare itself, when you go into select the team, you can just hit matches on whatever the competition is. So if you just look at the top 5 leagues in isolation, like there's no dominant power play really. Like Tottenham's maybe like is on screen here, the closest thing to it. At home, no midweeks to worry about. Good form against a team that's expected to be bottom 3. So like it's. But beyond that, like Real Madrid are away, Barca, I've got Betis. There's a lot of
but not crazy.
Bayern, Leverkusen. Even Dortmund away at Freiburg, not an easy game for Dortmund. And it's just like that all over. In Italy, it's Milan versus Inter, it's Juve versus Lazio. Like there's a lot of
derby week. Yep,
there's a lot of power games that can eliminate the big City, bottom.
A lot of the Prem teams are away, I believe, as far as like the bigger teams. I think Man City are away to West Ham. Pretty sure Liverpool are away to Wolves, I believe. Maybe. I don't know. They're playing Wolves. And and then Chelsea away to Bournemouth. Oh, but, you could argue that is probably a very good fixture. But yeah, a lot of away games. The only one, like we said, is probably that Tottenham and Leipzig game, really, that stand out in champ. So, yeah, I mean, we'll kick things off then with, your expertise in the Celtic side of things. And honestly, I don't know much about Dundee in the sense that obviously they just got promoted, right? Is that the consensus?
So they got cards the first time SPFL was on the platform. They then get relegated and then they bounce back. They've got Trevor Carson, who's a wee bit of an SO5 goalkeeper. He's good AA. And Ricky Lammy's not a bad SO5 player either. And I think one of these guys, maybe Bakayoko, is getting a bit of a reputation. It might be him or maybe Silla. It's one of these guys at Botet. It's one of these guys with a more exotic name, let's say. He's definitely not Scottish. And yeah, I think it's widely expected Celtic to run Dundee over. For the most part, obviously preparation for the Champions League. So McBride is the play sharper expert, right? So so me and McBride have spoken about this anyway. I did a predicted 11 on the Celtics Are Here podcast, on the Celtics Are Here channel. You can just go and find that on YouTube, and we cover Celtic Sorare specific stuff over there once or twice a week on the reg. But for me, I think this defence is probably the most likely defence to go. I think the alternative is maybe Scales as the left back and Lagerbielke plays, but I do think Phillips is going to start. I think Scales is really likely to start, and I think it's probably Taylor. I don't think anything that wacky would happen, like Scales at left back or whatever. Midfield speaks for itself. But I also picked up, Harry, I'm glad you never mentioned it there, I also picked up a James Forrest super rare, because with Abada being out until February, March, his minutes are going to greatly grow than what they would have been before. And, everyone has Yang Hyunjin, Yang on to start this game. And I think he probably is on the balance of probability, the reasonable expectation to start this game. However, when I look at the situation, thinking about it, with this being the warm-up game to Feyenoord away, the group stages is Feyenoord, Lazio, Atleti. You've got to beat Feyenoord home and away to finish third guaranteed, basically. So this first game of the group stages away is cup final territory, So you want, in my opinion, you want to play the first 60, 70 minutes against Dundee as if it's Feyenoord, with the team, the shape, try and get everyone rolling after an international break. James Forrest has been at Celtic. He's 32, his whole life. He's played Champions League. He's played Europa League. He's been a part of big victories in big stadiums at home and away and all sorts of competitions for Celtic. Yang has just arrived. Yang hasn't made it clearly his position in Abada's absence for me, And then there's Palma, who we've just spent 3 million on. He's floating around. Maybe Maeda I would see it more likely that Maeda goes onto the right-hand side and Palma would play, since we've spent a lot of money on him, and we see how that goes. But I think James Forrest starts this game. I think it's Forrest, Kyogo, Maeda. I'm backing it as well with my team selections this week.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that, mate. And obviously, Forrest would have played under Rodgers previously.
And he was great under Rodgers previously. Probably his best time.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously younger, quicker. There is those, physical things that deteriorate as a winger.
Feyenoord away, you take Yang for the last 30. Proper impact.
Yeah, 100%. Is this Yang an actual winger, or is he a forward playing on the wing?
Mate, it does look like Jota, like on the ball. He dribbles, he can take people on, does step overs.
He is an out-and-out winger. Like, he's not a forward, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Like,
he's a winger, and he's tidy.
Fair enough. Yeah. I like that look at. I know he's not a winger, but who's that centre mid you've been bringing on recently?
Home.
Yeah, mate. I don't mind him, by the way. He's really tidy.
Yeah, he's good.
Where's he from? Is he Scottish?
Norway. So we got him from Vålerenga, I want to say, and he was like in the top 50 Golden Boy thing, like before we got him, from what he did at Vålerenga, kind of thing. He looks a part. It's weird to figure. He's only in the limited minutes we've seen from him. It's hard to really nail out what kind of player he's going to be, because he does like a tackle. He does like to progress. He took a shot at Ibrox, and it might have been somewhere else. I'm sure it was Ibrox, but he took a shot from. He can't shoot from range. I can tell you that for nothing. Like, he's still got a long shot on him, in that kind of sense, if you know what I mean. But he doesn't mind getting into the final third itself. So it's kind of, we'll see how he pans out. He's tidy.
Yeah, he does look good. So yeah, I mean, that matchup indicator, obviously there's something. Is there? I'm guessing it's because they're in a promoted side, Dundee, in that sense, right? So we've got a bit of a skewed data set on them.
Yeah.
Regardless, I think Celtic probably still flying high. How have Dundee done so far this season? Have they won any games?
I don't think they're that bad. I think their manager's actually getting a wee bit of praise for at least the way they're playing. I'm just going to wait double check it. It's just pure
Like, I didn't
arrogance
want
of
to
the
know
Celtic
if,
fan.
yeah,
You know, it
just
doesn't
wanted to know
where
if
they're
they're
getting
like
the table.
down and out in that sense, or they, fighting to become, an actual top flight team again.
I'll show you. So 4 games played, 1 win, 2 draws, and a loss. Scoring 4 goals. Scoring 5 goals, conceding 5. So
It's not terrible,
bang,
but it's not,
bang.
just bang average.
1-0, win to Hearts. Drew with St Johnstone, get beat off St Mirren, and drew with Motherwell. Not bad results against okay teams. Motherwell are second, St Mirren are third for context. So and Hearts are right next to them. So they've not been stinking the joint
not
out.
terrible. Yeah, but going away to Celtic is tough for obviously any team in that league, regardless. So yeah, I mean, it's a great matchup. Like you said, there is a few questions on personnel. It's not the most settled Celtic team in the world as we've ever seen because of injuries, because of whatever, Hatate being out and stuff. And yeah, I'm confident.
I think Hatate plays as well. I think Hatate is good for a
Yeah.
65 minutes on this one. Like Rodgers, you need him in that Celtic team desperately for Rotterdam. He needs to be in the best shape possible. He needs 60 minutes under his belt. I don't think there's anything for it. So
is that harsh on Turnbull in that sense? Like, has he done anything wrong per se, or
he's not? But it's just that he doesn't. It's just that the team's missing without Hatate, and you're not going to take O'Reilly out because O'Reilly's been too good, and McGregor's McGregor. Yeah. So Turnbull's a casualty. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. No, I get it.
But yeah, Forrest's minutes, while Abad is injured, his minutes will go up. Really, I can almost guarantee that. Who knows if he starts at the weekend? That's my hunch, right? But like in general, if Abad being out, it's just he's just going to get more minutes, regardless. And then we've got Zagreb.
Okay.
Another challenger powerhouse.
Massive powerhouse. I guess they do have a midweek to worry about as well, right? So they'll be playing in, is it the Champions League? I actually don't know, to be honest. They definitely have a midweek, right?
I don't think they got to Champions League, and that's when Livakovic and Satalo were sold when they were sold.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we're out of Champions League now, so it must be in Europa League, I think. Yeah,
it must be Europa League. So still a competition they'll probably want to focus on. But yeah, I mean, I'm no sort of Dynamo Zagreb expert. Feder has that stack, like I mentioned, and I'm semi-aware of them because of that. But I mean, yeah, the team they're playing, I think, is one of the worst teams in the league. I know there's only 10 teams in that league, so I don't know where they actually rank as far as. I'm just having a look now. So they play Slaven, is it? Yeah, Slaven, and they're one but bottom, basically. But bottom has 1 point and Slaven has 6, to be fair. So there is a bit of a gap in that sense. But Dynamo, I mean, they haven't had the best of starts. They're 4th in the league right now after 5 games played.
And it's Conference League that they're in with Astana at home this midweek.
Interesting. And they play at home as well. So, no traveling for them, I guess, over the next couple of days. I mean, yeah. I know they've brought in one of their main guys back, haven't they? Ademi, isn't it? Ademi. Oh, what's his name?
This guy.
Someone will have to tell me in the chat, but
Arajan Ademi.
That's him. Yeah, Ademi. He's back into he's come back basically. I think he went away and now he's back into the side. So I think there's something going on with him as far as where does he fit in? Obviously, Big Batarina seems to be pretty nailed on, regardless of that. And yeah, I mean, yeah, great fixture. Petrovic probably scores a couple of goals, doesn't he, if we're being honest? Is that... so Ritovsky normally plays centre-half. I'm just looking at their back 4. I think that's a little bit, not lopsided, but Ritovsky definitely plays centre-back sometimes because they have that Mohamed Dari go behind Ritovsky. I think, Mahamari, so he kind of normally plays as far as I'm aware, just because Josh Forth is quite big on his Dynamo stuff, and then you've got Boško Satalo, you've got Dino Peric is like the nailed centre back, and then it's out of that Satalo and that the French league guy, Bernier or whatever his name is. But yeah, no, great fixture, and again, you'll definitely have to look out for Dynamo stacks, right? Big time.
Another challenger team in European football midweek. So Champions League is for PSV. Decent group they've got as well. They'll definitely fancy their chances. and they're at home this week to NEC, who are a decent. They were a decent SO5 outfit last season for a little spell, if I remember rightly. Not too sure how they've been doing this year, but PSV are a big smacking team, aren't they?
I think PSV are like, especially Joey Veerman, like he's in the running for the best midfielder on the game right now, right? By almost not a country mile, but like him, Rodri are probably the best two off the top of my head in as far as European players go. The team just looks settled. Bakayoko wanted to stay, wants to play Champions League football at PSV. He looks amazing. Obviously brought Noah Lang in this year, Luke de Jong up front, sort of leading the line, and Veerman in there, mate. Jesus, they got Boscagli back. This is a scary SO5 team to come up against in competitions if you've not got some of these pieces. Dest is now part of this side. Who I love Dest. I think he's great. Like he's a little bit maybe too flamboyant at times. Yeah, like he's a great. If you watch him play, I was watching him play for the USA against I think it was against Mexico actually a couple of months ago, and I know
he rinses people. He plays for America.
Hey, yeah, he like takes the piss too much in a weird way. Like, and I don't know if managers kind of look at that and like, oh, I don't know if I can trust him. It's one of them ones, but he is insane. Like he genuinely is. Obviously came from Ajax, so knows the league quite well, or very well, obviously. But yeah, NEC. I mean, I have a Magnus Mattsson, so I do kind of follow him quite a lot. I obviously won't be playing him this weekend. They seem to score a lot of goals. They concede a lot of goals. I can't see them really troubling PSV, if I'm being honest. And I do see them conceding quite a few because they are prone to literally conceding 3 or 4. Like they'll score 3, might concede 4. I've seen it happen already this season against lower teams. Dirk Propper's an actual player though. He's a really good little player. Obviously, Shone, who played for Ajax. They've got soliciting goals. They've got a lot of we could say
up front.
Experience. Bastos. Well, what a player. So yeah, I mean, this is the one to look out for. I think. Like, don't get me wrong, Celtic cards in essence should score very well. So will Zagreb cards, but this PSV one, I do worry that like there's a lot of 100 capable here. Noah Lang, Veerman, like there's some big cards coming in to Challenger / Gas this week, and under 23, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a bit under 23 heavy as well. Some of those guys I don't think Des is under 23 anymore, so I'm not sure how they're doing for defence.
No,
is he?
He is. Yeah, and then obviously Lang isn't, but yeah, Bakayoko is. That's Sabiri or Sabari, however you pronounce it. He is as well. So yeah, no, definitely. And then obviously they got Bella Kotchap to come into that side potentially as well, which I'm patiently waiting. So he's at 30% this weekend. I'm not risking him personally, but if he comes into that side and starts smashing scores left, right, and centre, then they could be a real force on Sorare.
John Andrews has reminded us about Lasagna, Irving Lozano, Chucky as well.
Chucky's back, 100%.
And
but
Timo,
where does he fit in, Chucky?
Timo reckons Bella's in.
Ooh, Timo, I like what you're telling me. Okay, Timo. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
I still don't think I can, just so we can see it, but
I still don't think I can risk him, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, that would be great if he did start. And yeah, Leipzig then comes in at 4th, first champion Europe team. I was going to say Asia then. Leipzig have been great so far this season. I got to be honest, like SO5 wise, Xavi Simons, Openda's been scoring a couple of goals. The defense has been scoring very well on Sorare as well, which I'm quite not shocked at, but it's just happened in that sense. And Simikan, I know they lost Willy Orban in there over the international break. I think he's out now for the foreseeable. So Lukeba comes in and maybe gets his chance. And I think, wow, Simikan and Lukeba, what a centre half pairing that is. French sort of under 21 internationals and whatever. I think they could form a really nice partnership. Very young, obviously. Simikan's been in the league for a while now. Lukeba just recently joined. So, yeah, it's an interesting... it's not too different from last year. Forsberg, Campbell, Shagler. There's still Henriks, Ram. The boys are still there, but they've added a lot of, young quality. Sesko, Openda, Simons. It's a really, really good core there, I think. And yeah, I don't know how Forsberg have sort of started this season. I can't imagine very well, to be honest. So, this could be a romping.
My poor Finn Damon has been getting hammered so far this season.
You've got the Finn. Okay, plays Forsberg. Sorry. Yeah.
He does do good scores, but it's just the conceded 3 part that's been a bit of a problem.
He has been getting some decent AA, right? When I look at your lineups and stuff, he always seems to be in the green, but not.
Yeah. So no clean sheets for him. But so it's probably one of those ones where he's had Bayern, now he's had Leipzig. So a few hard games will be out of his path now, hopefully for a little while, which is nice. But yeah, I think this Leipzig team is potentially got the makings of being the best Leipzig that's been. Like if I actually watched them play, I was saying this to Sam actually earlier, but it's hardcore Red Bull, like the way they're playing now. Like they're just absolutely embodying like the epitome of Red Bull football with Marco Rosa playing like kind of like the peak Salzburg. There was a Salzburg team that got to like the quarters of the semis or something of the Europa League, and it was guys like, memory serves me right, like guys like Schlager, Campbell, and that were associated with that team. And I'm pretty sure Marco Rosa might have been the manager or there around that era. So I just feel, I don't know, it just feels like there's a lot of guys that are just in to do the job. Schlager and Campbell just tick the boxes, do the Red Bull box midfield thing. So does Forsberg, who's in for somebody who's injured. I forget who it is at this moment, sorry. Olmo. But then you've got Xavi Simons, Openda doing a better job of the Werner role than Werner, and then Sesko finally being the kind of Haaland that they'd never had, in terms of the big target man guy to make it all go in the net. So I think, this could be a great game for Leipzig. I think Leipzig in general are on for a good season. Goalkeeper's the only issue for me, and the amount of injuries they get in defence doesn't seem to stop. It seems to happen every season that there's defenders injured. So hey, they've still got a good-looking defence now, but let's see how long they're fit for.
100%. And you've almost got a full under-23 team there, barring the goalkeeper. You could either go double defence or you do double forward in Sesko and Openda. Obviously, totally. Simons being the midfielder. So, yeah, worrying sort of, if you've not got them, like myself, then, yeah, I'm definitely looking out for them this weekend.
So, Harry, you've got a question here from Ralphie Boy.
Okay. I've heard of Canoplat, or however you say it, Kampolat, sorry. Goalkeeper. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know too much about him. I know he played in Turkey or plays in Turkey. Says he seems okay. Watch him play. I do have Jorgensen, and I was thinking again. Jorgensen's a decent player. He has a great fixture this weekend, so I don't know why you would want to pick him up this specific weekend, if that makes sense. But yeah, I would be playing that Jorgensen this weekend. I think he plays Almeria at home. But yeah, in terms of Canoplat, honestly, I'm not going to tell you to go out and do whatever with him, because I honestly haven't seen him play. I've just heard his name from being in and around the under 23 sort of sphere. But yeah, I'm just looking now. 22 years old, he's playing for Pendik. I'm pretty sure they got promoted, right? Made a penalty save last game. They've drawn every game so far. No clean sheets. I mean, he seems okay. I don't know enough about him in that sense to really give you a good, I don't want to tell you to do something when I'm not that informed on him either. So, yeah, Jorgensen seems a good enough player for me this weekend for you in that sense. And, yeah, I would probably just stick with him, to be honest.
And then the next game, Harry, we're going back to Holland, and it's against Celtic's midweek Champions League foes. We're going to Rotterdam already, Harry. So what do we think of Feyenoord lining up? Welly in goals, Wellenreuther in goals. Gertruida looks to be in the team. There was some rumours he might be injured. Apparently not. Trauner, Hanko, and Hartman. That's a pretty full strength back four, isn't it?
Yeah, nice. Apart from the goalkeeper, we're looking at as full strength as they can kind of go right now, I would say. Ivan Sek obviously coming to the side looks unbelievable. Stengs in the 10. Timber seems to have made this sort of number 8 role his instead of Zaruki, who everyone thought he would start this season, and hasn't really been the case. Timber's sort of taken his chance. Weefa's been himself, and yeah, Jimenez has been scoring goals as is Pacquiao. So this is when I said PSV are probably the best sort of team. I think these could take them close in that sense, especially this week. Very similar fixture, I would say, to the PSV game, but a way more settled side, I would say. Like I said, barring the goalkeeper, yeah, you've got to look out for Feyenoord, I'd say, right now, and especially under 23s. I know this is not good for myself in that sense, but they've got some crazy players. They've kept hold of Gertruda, like you said, and yeah, this is definitely worrying times if you don't have any of those Feyenoord guys, because they seem to just get score big goals and not concede much as well, which is, yeah, a sign of a very good team, right?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, the midfield has been pretty tidy. I was doing a wee bit of analysis on them for obviously the draw and stuff like that. And Stengs I was a big fan of Stengs at AZ. Him and Boadu were quality there. And you just kind of hope after it didn't work at France and Belgium that it would come back to life for him. But yeah, he's definitely taken into this role, and he's got I've not watched Feyenoord, but if you look at his heat map, he's everywhere. He is just going everywhere, dropping out wide and getting on the ball and doing whatever he wants, kind of thing. So yeah, really dangerous. And I wouldn't have them as being that much of a whipping boy, but when you look at their team, it's pretty crap.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many players. You call her the left back. Obviously Noppert's a decent goalkeeper, to be fair. So he might try and keep him in as much as he can. But yeah, I just can't see how Feyenoord don't really dominate this game. Maybe shut it off by 60, 70th minute, and then look forward to that. That big tie against Celtic then midweek.
Yeah. And then we're going to jump over the Atlantic for this one. Now, I've been checking the River Plate predicted 11s religiously now because I've got a guy in River Plate waiting to come back from injury. The guy that I had in Saudi Arabia that's been back to it. So I know he's not there. But it's good to see the River are up there. Good scoring game week for them. And it's also a friend of the channel, Laird, and we know he loves a wee bit of his Armanis and everything else. And River Plate, again, very well stacked team. And then seeing a vintage Lanzini in there. I know he's got some old cards from back in the West Ham days as well. Barco's in this team as well. River Plate feel like a little bit OG Sorare, don't they? Especially with Enzo and Alvarez previously, So good to see they've got a good 100%. Game.
Yeah, obviously, we're doing the stream last night with Fed. Obviously, he has quite a big River stack, and a lot of the boys are still involved. Obviously, Paulo Diaz, De La Cruz was great for Uruguay actually over the international break. I think he scored 100 in one of the games. Lanzini sort of back home, quote unquote, and Enzo Perez is still involved. Interested to see Santiago Simon there at right back. He's a really interesting player. I love watching him play. I know he's only at 40%, but under 23 sort of midfielder realistically. But they're trialing him at right back. Apparently, I was hearing in some of the discords I'm in. So that could be an interesting player. He's a midfielder card, so I don't know how that's going to work out for him realistically until we sort of see it happen. But they've lost Beltran, one of their number 9 to Florentina. So they've lost a bit of firepower. I don't know who this Miguel Broja guy is, if I'm being honest. We obviously know Barco isn't a 9. So I'd be interested to see what is that formation actually looking like. Is it similar to like the Real Madrid, like the sort of 4-1-2-2 with 2 sort of wingers as forwards in that sense, or 2 10s as 9s, whatever it looks like. Because I'm not, unless Broja's an actual number 9, I don't really know how that sort of works out there. But another a massive Argentinian team, and the team they're playing are like really bad. I think like not even seen their badge before, and I've been playing in the Argentinian divisions, in that sense, and for a little while. So I'm honestly not too sure who they are. Arsenal, Arsenal.
So I actually had their goalkeeper. They must have got relegated. If you've not seen them, I had a guy called Axel Werner who played for them for 6 months. And he got dropped for them. That's how bad he was, and they get relegated. Wow. And now he's so he's not been a good card.
They're back.
He's been playing, but I think he's playing in La Liga 2 now for maybe Elche actually. But good River Plate team, and like I paused there when you said the thing about Santiago Simon, right? Because when I was really paying attention to River, I think when Alvarez was still popping through, I'm not sure if Enzo was, I can't remember. Anyway, it was a while ago.
Yeah, they would have been. They all played together, definitely.
But when that Simon was breaking into the team, I remember speaking to people and I was watching a few River games and listening to people's opinions on the matches and stuff like that. And I remember seeing a lot of people. This is like a year and a half ago or something, maybe a year. But people were slating that Simon, saying that when he came on, it was killing the game and all that, and he was rubbish and he couldn't do anything and stuff like that. That's my lasting memory of him. Is that was people's impression of him,
Yeah, so he probably hasn't fulfilled his potential. Yeah, like he's weird. He's like he's actually quite similar to Alvarez in a way. He's like the winger version of Alvarez. Like he hasn't got any skills or anything in that sense, but like he's quite quick and nimble, can kind of use his body quite well. But he has got I've seen him score like really good goals. Like he got a really good long shot on him. He's quite small. I don't know if he's as athletic as Alvarez in that sense, or maybe that's holding him back from really progressing. But he's a good little player. Like he's not, I've never really seen him play terribly, but I've only ever seen him play really well, like twice. So, and it makes sense. 2 of his mates are playing in the best leagues in the world, and he's, it is what it is. Some people just, aren't up to the crack in that sense. Maybe he will eventually make it. Hopefully he does, but there's definitely something there with him, 100%.
Yeah. And then we've got a familiar sight right behind River Plate, a very well stacked team as well on Sorare. We've got Sporting at home to to Morenese. Is this? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty good sporting team, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, they've kept the boys together, haven't they, from last season? Majority of them anyway. Paulinho, Goncalves, obviously added Gyökeres. I'm not sure who that Hoyland guy is. Hoyland, however we're going to pronounce it. I've seen his name mentioned on Twitter though, so I'm guessing he's one of those. I think he came from the Italian league. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but regardless, I mean, yeah. Again, this is one of the heavier stacked teams, isn't it? In Sorare, they've been around for a long time now, and like I said, have kept most of their core together. Goalie, Coates, Inaccio's obviously still there to some people's surprise in that sense. Diomande looks unbelievable. I know he doesn't really have many cards. I don't know about the wing backs. I know Nuno Santos is more of a forward, isn't he, or was?
Yeah. I was just thinking, have I seen him there? I'm like, what's this plum doing?
And I know that Ricardo Escaio. I know Laird has his super, so I just know his face from that. He never seems to score that well, to be honest. And yeah, maybe it's a theme in Portugal. Just wing backs aren't really, or left backs, right backs just don't seem to be strong. And Porto aren't very strong in that area. Okay, you could argue Benfica actually are really strong, with Grimaldo last year and stuff. But Sporting and Porto seem to be, just subpar in that sense. But yeah, again, great fixture, and I'm sure some of those guys, Pote, I know someone's saying there, Gyökeres isn't actually, set to start. Mickey says, big talent from Denmark, captain for Lecce. Yeah, okay. I was right on the Italian thing. Let's go. I needed that. I would have sounded very stupid if that wasn't true. But I mean, do we skip
might not start. No, we don't skip Rangers because they've got enough cards now. They've got enough. And somebody didn't ask about them earlier. Yeah. So they've got cards for the whole front line. Now, Cantwell and Dibble, both these guys have cards that are now confirmed as being injured for the next 3 or 4 games, I think was Beale's words. So I think Cifuentes will just come straight into here alongside Raskin and Jack. I think that's the only change you could really make of note. Otherwise, the rest of this team, I think, is the way it goes. Up front, there's a lot of question marks for them. I do think the way I heard Beale talk about Roof, I think Roof will be on to play. Again, Beale is very much nailed his colours to the mast. That he identified Sam Lammers and he really believes in Lammers and all that crap. And I don't think you can really play Dessers over Matondo. So I think that probably is the team that runs. And away to St Johnstone, who, kept Celtic out 0-0 in the last game week before we had the international break. So definitely not a foregone conclusion here. And one to St Johnstone.
The St Johnstone. We'll skip Peru.
Yeah, we'll skip Lima for sure. I don't think there's any cards for them. So we're going to be going to London, baby. We're going to be going to London next for its Manager of the Month, Premier League Manager of the Month, Angeball Postecoglou. Big Ange, as they're calling him in England, is all the patter. Cantwell is out. Boo! Yeah, sorry, I missed the chat there when we got it all going. Ian, sorry, I love it. But Tottenham have looked brilliant. I've only missed one of their games, but they've looked brilliant. And I've seen a wee bit of drama off the back of this predicted 11 on Twitter. I think it's 2 Bob Squirt that does it. He's a hardcore Tottenham fan and he knows his onions, kind of thing. And I thought Son was injured, but people are telling me this morning, Quinny's not injured, he's fine. So cool, Son's fine. And this looks like the team that will be going out. I think Ange is married to the goalkeeper in the back 4 now. I think Bissouma, Sarr and Maddison, I think he's married to that midfield now. And it's merely the front line he's starting to figure out now. I've struggled to think that Richarlison goes back in, to be quite frank, at centre forward. I think he plays Son, or I think he either plays Son through the middle and Solomon. I think that's probably most likely. But I think the second most likely is Brennan Johnson starts with Son or Solomon on the wing, because I think you've just spent money on him, you've ID'd him. Ange is nobody's pal. Ange isn't going to go, Richarlison played for Brazil and, scored all right in one of the games or whatever it might be. He's not done it. He's not cut the mustard. They dropped him for the last game. Spurs did better for it. And now they've went and spent money on somebody that you've got to think has been seen as a solution to that problem. So, and I don't know. I don't really know Kulusevski's. I think Kulusevski's been okay for Ange, but I don't really paid enough attention to that. So I think the whole front three, basically, I think anything could happen in that front three. So depending on what your own POV and what your own hunches are, I would suggest you go with your own hunch with Tottenham's front line.
Yeah, I can see why they put Richarlison at 50 in that sense, because he's the only number 9. But I know he hasn't really done any sufficient job realistically, has he? For club or country over the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, I know. He's come out and said. Well, I've heard he's come out and said that he's going to go see a therapist and stuff. I don't know how true that is, but apparently he's struggling in that sense. Obviously, I'm not here to sort of. Yeah, we're not here to bash anyone, but he just doesn't seem to be doing his job correctly, and that happens in every walk of life. And there's somebody else gets the shot, doesn't they? And if they can't take it, then it probably goes back to him, and that's just the nature of how kind of football works. You've got to take your chance, and I'd be interested to see how this actually plays out. I don't think Kulu leaves that right wing spot. I think he's quite unique in how he can cut in off that sort of right hand side. He gets the ball. Like the thing is, like he can. I was speaking to Sam about actually, like he gets the ball so deep, like he'll come into that like false fullback role, and then like he just drives with the ball, and then like you got Porro very high up, and it allows just the whole team to sort of push up in that sense. And I don't really know, like Brennan's good at carrying the ball, but I don't think he's as efficient and like clever in that sense, or than Nakulu is. I wouldn't say Brennan can find a killer pass. He's normally on the end of that killer pass in that sense with his pace. So I'd be interested to see what happens. Obviously, I want Brennan to start. I'm not going to risk him though, personally. I think he definitely comes off the bench. I know that's probably not a shock to anyone, but I would be shocked if he started, if I'm being honest. I do think they might give Richarlison like one more chance.
Fair. Just thought I would throw my hunch at it as well. But yeah.
100%.
Probabilities are definitely with the team selected here, I would say. Palmeiras, I don't think we've got any cards for. Same with Molda, but Galatasaray, we've had them mentioned already, and they are a powerhouse Sorare team, we're thinking, this year. And they've got a midweek. Did they get Man United this week? No. Or who do they have midweek? I forget.
Who do they have midweek? Let me have a look.
The trainer of PSV just said that Lozano and Bella Kotchap are ready to play, but still not sure that they start.
They play Copenhagen midweek at home.
Oh, tasty. So that's like Celtic v Feyenoord. That is like their cup final, because the rest of that group is Bayern and Man United. So, so this is a huge game for Galatasaray midweek. Same with Copenhagen, obviously. And, they're a wee bit more restricted in the team they can pick in the league with foreigner rules and all that kind of stuff. And this looks to be the team they'll be running out. Karim Demirbay, long suspected to be the cheat code domestic player, because I think he is Turkish, even though he's like German or something as well. One of those ones. Mm-hmm. So he's straight into this team alongside Lucas Torreira. And then Tete, Dries Mertens and Akhtar Koglu behind Icardi. Looks really strong. Back four seems to be ever present now. That back four seems pretty nailed on with Mussarella and goals. Really good team.
Good team, mate. Yeah, everyone seemed to have bought a Galatasaray stack in some capacity, haven't they, this year or this season? So, I hope. I'm sure it's a great fixture for them, and they'll probably want to get the job done pretty soon and concentrate on the midweek, as do a lot of these teams, I guess. Going into what's massively important for them. This first sort of game in Europe for a lot of the teams.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of guys here that will want minutes as well. And I think this Galatasaray team, because they've went through qualification and stuff as well, if memory serves me. So, they're a pretty well-oiled machine at this point in the season. And then, 100%. Barca are actually up here. That's interesting. I think that's a tough game.
Yeah. It's not easy, but I think, anytime Barca are at home, you'd have to, they're going to be up there, aren't they? Unless it's Atletico or Real, if we're being honest.
Cancelo.
Cancelo's in.
What do you make of this Lamel guy? I've not seen him yet. Is he all that?
Oh, mate, he's unbelievable. I mentioned him to you, didn't I, a couple of months ago? And I said, look out for this kid, because, I'm not saying I said, I told you so, but I'm not saying you were against that either. But it's all coming to fruition, hasn't it? First goal for Spain at 16, youngest ever this, youngest ever that. Mate, he's frightening.
We're saying that about Ansu Fati. He's at Brighton now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but injury. They're different players. Like this Lamel guy's like, he's just an out and out sort of winger. Where like Fati, no one really knows what position Fati is. He's not really like electric, and he's not like the most skillful. He's just got a deadly shot on goal. Fati, not only, but that's like his USP. I would say Fati just seems to come in clutch. And I think I remember at one point him and Greenwood's XGs were like insane for their age, because they were just, every shot they were taking, they'd score. With this Lamel guy, or Yamal guy, he's just like one-on-one. He's just terrorizing people, Quinny. Like against Villarreal, I think it was Pendreza, whoever the left back is for them. Mate, he just had him on toast all game. Like it was embarrassing. And yeah, mate, honestly, I mean, he's keeping Rafinha out of the team, who's obviously a fully fledged Brazilian international who's doing good things for his national team or whatever. If, we know how good, I know Rafinha hasn't been unbelievable at Barca, but for a 16-year-old to be keeping him out of the side, it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely.
Like Abade obviously coming on loan from Barca. Like all these wingers are just being shipped out because they've literally got like an unbelievable, like once in a generation talent. I know we said about Fati, okay, but this kid's like, honestly, I know like he's the closest thing Barcelona have seen to Messi. Like that's what has kind of been said. And
yeah, I've heard it
easy
before.
to say, heard it before, but mate, you watch him play.
I know.
I'm telling you, mate.
I need to see him. I need to see him.
Oh, mate, he's frightening. And he's quite big already. Like, he's like almost like 5'11". He's very skinny, obviously 16, but like his frame, like he's already like, he's just so athletic for his age. Yeah. And I don't think he's just rapid, but mate, on the ball, he just finds solutions as like a 16-year-old probably shouldn't be doing in men's football. He's honestly like looking really dangerous.
Yeah, but I find it mainly interesting because like Barca at home, fair enough. Good talent coming through the squad. We love a bit of Silky Ilke. We love a wee bit of FDJ. Good form coming from both of them, So Cancelo coming into this team, like it could be a lot of fun. This Barca team, it really could. But Betis are no pushovers, man. Like, that back four is solid. The goalkeeper's decent. The midfield three is, I think, high level La Liga. I've not seen the Abde guy play. Perez can score. Jose can score.
He's on loan from Barca, Abde.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of kind of praise around him getting
he's
that.
Quick. He's quick.
Yeah,
he's
quite buzzing about it. Fair. Yeah. But I just don't see Barca coming out of this with a clean sheet. And I'm not really convinced it's a high SO5 scoring victory for them either. I don't see how it comes up so high in this reckoning, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like, I don't see all the forwards getting 12 AA against, well, maybe they will. I don't know. I suppose maybe they're doing a lot of
rumours that
stuff.
The Ferran was going to get a chance actually this game.
Well, see, that's part of the thing that does my nut in about Barca, right? Because Ferran just goals per minute or decisives per minute is pretty tidy. I mean, when he gets a run of games, he's good for it, but he just never gets a bloody spot in the team, man. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Because, again, Rafinha's a big money signing. Is quite well favoured on that side of the pitch. And Gavi, João Felix is now in the squad as well. And then obviously Lewandowski through the middle is another competitor for a forwards role for him. So, it's a funny. They're very well capable and strong in depth, Barcelona for sure. But I don't get how it's so higher than Benfica. Come on.
Yeah, I mean Benfica are away from home, right?
Higher than Bruges. Let's just do the Bruges one quickly, right? Just because it's so far down. We'll just have a wee. Somebody mentioned that. We'll do Bruges and then we'll go to Benfica, right? Just because a wee comparison. Because I don't think that's that. So we were just looking at Barca at home at Betis, or then you've got Bruges at home at Charleroi. And Charleroi, I don't think are doing that great at the moment, are they? Nah, horrible odds. No. Horrible odds. Really strong team, really good SO5 team as well. I think so. Yeah, that's quite a good game. Nusa has got on fire, hasn't he?
Yeah, he looks great. He apparently though he's come back with a bit of fatigue. I heard from international break, so that's probably why he's at 50 there. But yeah, great team. Some big under 23 scorers in that team as well. So and obviously the Lord gelling it all together.
So yeah, Bruce should be a wee bit higher, I think, to answer the question from earlier. But who is actually next? Sorry, Benfica.
Benfica, yeah, away. Yeah, I don't know. Benfica have been interesting this year. They, Coach who actually hasn't been as, I know he's been good, but I don't know. There's been a few questions. I don't know how Flo's now at 70%. He hasn't hardly started a game all season, and I don't know. Obviously, the Trubin situation. Bar's been on the bench a couple of times. There's just been a few weird situations. They're still sort of figuring out what their best 11 is, what best formation to use. Arnaus is playing as a left back. He's played everywhere. I don't know. It's just a weird state. They're obviously all great players, so they can all just kind of mop in and fit in where needed. But yeah, Di Maria has kind of been the shining light, I would say, so far. So 5-wise, he's really, really shone since coming back home.
Yeah. And I think as well, like, I can't believe Suarez is. I think if he's not 100%, like I said it last week, and I played Trubin for Benfica before the break, and he didn't play. And obviously, didn't feature for Ukraine when he was off because he hadn't played for Benfica. Allegedly, that was the reasoning behind it. But I think if you're buying Trubin, you're buying him to play Champions League. He's a proven Champions League group stage goalkeeper. That's what you're getting with Trubin, if nothing else at this stage, you know. So I know it's away from home. It's maybe not quite super ideal. You'd maybe prefer to be at home, but against Vizela, you know, like just get him in. I think so. I think that rationale. I want to see Trubin start. I'm very surprised to see Suarez there. Obviously, the expert knows better than me. Much closer to it. Arunes coming in at left back as well. And yeah, it's a really good team. It's a really good team when you look at it.
Yeah, like I've still got my Flo, and I'm not trusting this, but like Flo hasn't started a game really this season. Like, and this, João Neves is unbelievable. Like, he's a great player. He's like 18 years old now, and I just don't know. I'm a bit worried about him, so I'm not really risking that this week. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how Cabral does, honestly, this year. How many goals does he get?
Should do great.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. Do you want to go to Fenerbahce?
I've got Porto, so we can have a quick glance at them. Porto are never too exciting to look at because there's just not that. I'm just never excited. I say it every week about Porto. I'm really sorry, but I'm never excited to look at them.
Yeah, they're not that exciting of a team, to be honest. I mean,
the team doesn't change.
Yeah, not really.
You know what I mean?
My prodigy though, Alan Varela, is apparently set to start in centre midfield from.
And I've seen your other prodigies on his way to City, the Ginger Barco.
He is. See, I tell you what, I'm not a bad scout, Quinny. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I mentioned that Barco. That was literally like almost 2 years ago now when I first picked him up. But anyway, Porto are weird team. They've not got a clean sheet so far this season. And I know that because I own Costa, and he's not yielded me a clean sheet yet. So they play tonight. I'm hoping the Friday curse can just have a day off, basically, and maybe get me one of those nice little clean sheets for Costa.
Now, there's over 100, 110, 120 Sorare scouts and managers from all around the world joining us, guys. Now, there's a couple of things. We're going to be giving away a card, right? I've not actually mentioned it yet, but we'll be giving away a card. Let me just share the tab and get you up to speed. So we have got a limited Billy Gilmore, the Scottish Javi, or whatever you want to call him, donated by patron saint of the channel, Sorare Monkey. Make sure to go and give him a follow at SR Monkey on Twitter and all that good stuff as well. We're going to give it away to someone that's going to get involved in the live stream with us today. So, guys, if you're joining in, watching the stream, there's all these viewers. I think a bunch of you are on Twitter, there's a bunch of you on YouTube and Twitch. To get involved, how will we give a, normally the retweet picker is a good one, but I also
standard one.
I do like a bit of a quiz in the chat. That's also good
fun. Quizzes are fun, aren't they? And they're very interactive, as to the people obviously in the chat in that sense. It kind of rewards. Yeah, I would say the quiz, honestly, Quinny, because people on Twitter, if they get wind of it and they're not actually watching, it's kind of a bit disingenuous, isn't it, in that sense?
Guys, what to do is okay. How about this, right? If you could do us a favor, right? And I don't mind asking you for a favor, guys, right? We'll give it away to the live chat, right? As a quiz. But if you could do us a favor, if you're on Twitter, find the tweet broadcasting the stream, hit a wee like, hit a wee retweet for us, just give it a wee bit of action, a wee bit of love, and help the cause, as it were. And we'll do a quiz in the chat at the end of the stream. We'll do a quick fire question towards the end. I'll try and get this into your gallery so you can use it for this game week as well. Donated by SR Monkey as well. And this will go to anyone right now. We'll get it to you before the deadline. We'll even have a look at the Brighton team as well, just to make sure wee Billy is in it. But we've got the Fenerbahce team up at the moment. So anyway, get involved. Like the stream, guys. We're on 36 likes. Get the likes up if you can. Jump onto Twitter for 2 seconds, hit like and retweet on the broadcast over there. And yeah, let's say like 25 minutes. We'll do 25, 30 minutes. We'll do the quiz. Something like that. We'll think of a question. We'll come up with something between us somehow. And we'll get that going. Yeah.
I've just been tagged in a tweet saying that Bosch has said that Bella Kotchap cannot play 90 minutes, but could possibly start at PSV.
Nice. And Drew, sure, the guy is set to start.
Do I want to? Yeah, Druetch. Yes, thank you, Cal, for saying. I know someone mentioned it earlier. I'm presuming it was you, Cal. I have actually brought him into the Road to Glory team. So yeah, thank you for letting me know. And I did look on Play Sharper, and he is at 75%. So I'm buzzing to be able to use my Druetch this weekend.
The Twitter is at Quinny3001. Just for somebody asking there, sorry. Feel free to follow if that's the first time you're finding us over there. But the Fenerbahce team, I think, has just as much aplomb to it as the Galatasaray team, Harry. You know,
Definitely.
And looking at it,
100%.
that front three could rip a lot of teams apart, man.
It's a great front three, isn't it? A bit of pace with Under, and then obviously the finesse and vision of Tadic to go with Dzeko's sort of finishing capabilities and whatever else he brings as a 9'9" forward. But yeah, Slamansky in there as well. Fred's obviously been brought in. It's a good team, mate. There's some really interesting SO5 pieces here. Livakovic.
This doesn't feel like they're playing as many Turkish players as they're meant to be. When I look at this, like, where's all the Turkish people that you play?
I can only see. And Under's obviously Turkish. Isn't it 3 you need?
I don't know.
If it's 3, then it's. Yeah, I think it's 3. So Under, Yandas, and Kadioglu.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is probably the 3, I imagine.
I thought it was more than that. I thought it was like 5 or something you needed. It's crazy.
Maybe it's 5. Yeah. Or maybe 5 in the squad. I don't know. I don't know where it is actually.
Lunek has got his finger on the pulse.
Okay. Nice, Lunek. Thank you for that. Ooh, Trent injured. It's a big one.
I think the Liverpool weren't too far off the list. Oh, they're next. Oh, good timing, by the way, that man.
What are the chances?
Now, Wolves, by the way, I did a wee video on Wolves, and I've watched them against Man United, and they really impressed me. And then I watched them against somebody else, and they absolutely bored me to tears. I almost fell asleep. But Wolves are not too bad, by the way. Wolves are not too bad. They're at home, and I think Big Bueno could come in for his debut. We'll see what happens, but they look all right. They've got a decent enough team. We Tommy Doyle from Man City as well.
Yeah.
Jean Rushner, Bellegarde, SO5 monster in midfield now as well. So we can see a bit of him. João Gomez is good. I can tell you that from watching him. Fabio Silva, we've been waiting for that to happen. Pedro Neto, Cunha, we know he's got AA. It's a decent wee team.
Yeah, it is. I do worry about the firepower as far as like actually scoring goals. Like I love Neto, I love Cunha. I'm not in love with Silva. I don't know. I do worry that there's a lack of goals in that team. But a good team. Like there is, there's potential in it. I just don't know if it's gonna actually, come into fruition in that sense, especially against Liverpool. We said no Trent. So what does that Liverpool team look like then? Realistically, Gomez. Well, I've heard Konate. I think Konate trained yesterday for like the first time for a little while. So I honestly don't know how valuable that Play Sharper prediction is. Sorry if you're watching and made that prediction, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit pessimistic there. But I know he's only recently come back to training. But yeah, there's just goals in that side, man. Slobosly's fitted in like a glove. I do like Curtis Jones. And then you obviously got Jota. I'm guessing, is Luis Diaz, I guess, in a travel issue potentially because he's been starting, right? Ben Doak, the boy. Yeah, I don't know. I see a Liverpool victory. It might not be as straightforward as they'd like, I guess, but I definitely see Liverpool winning it, honestly.
Yeah. I think I've seen some pictures of Konate kicking about training and stuff like you've said. He's listed here also as questionable, but I just think they don't have much more options, so they probably will play him. And if he comes off injured, they'll just need to sub and deal with it kind of thing. Because again, in the league, there's just no easy games. And if you're Liverpool, you need to win them all. You need to finish second, first, third. You need to be in those realms. And you've got to play the best team you can, man.
100%, mate.
Where will we finish off? I think Man City isn't a match worth. I'm quite happy to look at the Man City team. Of course, I've got some cards. But I don't think this is like a matchup, that you see, Man City are away to West Ham, buzzing about that. Like, I'm quite happy with the cards I've got in at Guardiola and Silva, if they both start.
Yeah.
The City team looks hot to trot. It really does. Walker on a new extension. Ruben Diaz, Guardiola, a lot of this squad is just, there's never any problems with this team, is there? Really, like, internally, there's nobody itching to move. There's not like, this guy's not getting the minutes he deserves or any of that crap. It's kind of boring. in a way, you know, like it's just, yeah, if they're fine again and they look good again this weekend, like, you know,
Well-oiled machine, isn't it?
yeah.
Well-oiled
But
machine. Mickey said.
and West Ham, again, similar to Betis, are not pushovers. You know what I mean? Like, it's a
They're
similar
not,
kind of vibe for
mate.
me. Where I don't see this being that powerful a matchup, you know?
It's not. No, and I guess that's kind of why Man City are probably not so far down, but they're definitely not, towards the top in that sense. Mickey does update us that Pep has said that Grealish, Kovacic, and Stones are out. So yeah, we probably do see Doku. We probably do see Alvarez on the other side and Foden in there as well to make up that sort of three across, the attacking midfield. And yeah, there's not many shocks outside of that, is there? But yeah, West Ham are it's not an easy place to go. I can tell you that for free.
Mate, look at that team when you put Kudus in it. The forward line still, I like Jared Bowen as much as the next guy, right? But see when you look at that midfield and then you look at that forward line, like, spend some money, man. Make it work. Look at that midfield, mate. JWP, Paqueta, Kudus.
They spent money on Samaka. Obviously, he wasn't Moyes' player. Like they have tried, I guess. But yeah, that sort of number 9 role for West Ham is kind of not cursed, but they just not got the guy that you're like, wow, like what a striker. But Antonio, give Man City a tough game. Like, yeah, he's not pretty on the eye and stuff, and
yeah.
But what he brings as a hard-working number 9 is very valuable to that Moyes' sort of system against a Man City that they're going to need everyone working around the clock to try and make something of this game, because they're not going to have the ball for very much of it, are they? So they need to be penetrative. They need to be pressing where they can and try and exploit Man City.
Johnny, explain yourself. You're giving me the parabuzz. Why would you play Taylor? I do. I have also said I can see Scales being left back. So if it's just that, I've kind of wrestled that. Roma at home to Empoli, by the way, I think that's a fixture that might deserve a bit more credibility on the matchups tab here, because Roma do have midweek football, blah, blah, blah. Empoli, but especially Roma at home, like that's not a game. That's better than some of these other games we've looked at, surely. Like if you've got Lukaku and Dybala up front.
I mean, of course. How have they started so far, though? Is that like, have Roma been okay? Like, are they blown everyone away? Like, what's the?
I think there's been a lot of injuries. I don't think they've been bad, but I don't think the form's been that terrible. Certainly, where this would be a D-ranked match, if you get me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This team's got nothing special going on about it. I like this Luperto. He always comes up in search results for undervalued, high, good points per pound guys. This guy's really good. He's quite young as well, and he's the sort of guy like. See, when I look at this guy, he's not the same sort of actual real life player. But those guys you find and you're like, he should be really good, and it probably will never happen for him. Is like DeMarco, the guy at fucking Inter Milan.
Yeah.
See, when he was playing for Parma and Verona, you're like, this guy should be quality, but he's probably never going to get that chance or whatever.
Yeah.
This Luperto, in that kind of way, reminds me of DeMarco. So he's a good wee guy, but he's only one man. Look at this team. This is a quality team. Oar, Cristante, Bove. This Bove, by the way, doesn't really get spoken about. I don't think he's that amazing a footballer, but he's like Roman, and Jose Mourinho's debuted him, and Mourinho plays him quite a bit. And
wasn't he like a uni student or something? I swear there was like something like that. I don't know what it was. Yeah.
He's a proper like guy from the streets and all that of Rome, and like plays for the team and all that. That Totti De Rossi, one of these kind of vibes, so he's cool. And then El Shaarawy, Christensen, handy enough, man. Good team.
Oh, some big names there, yeah, 100%. I'm sure they'll get it together for sure. But yeah, maybe it could be a little 2-3-0 up potentially on a good day for them.
I don't mind looking at Marseille as well, because they're always good fun.
Yeah, we'll do. And then they've started off.
Well, we stop at Newcastle. I think Newcastle. Oh, PSG. Yeah. But we're not going to do everything in between. But we'll do Newcastle, PSG to finish. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds good.
Marseille, Villarreal, AZ, Newcastle, PSG, and then we'll do the quiz. That sounds fun. Right, cool. Where are we? Marseille. Sorry, all over the place, mate. So we're skipping out Valerenga, Espanyol, Vitesse, and Lens. I'm really sorry, guys. But yeah, Marseille, Paul Lopez and goals again. Klaus. Again, I really like this Marseille team. I think this could be a higher up game on the matchups tab. This is a really strong starting 11. Like Joaquin Correa, Vitinha, Ndiaye has been scoring well enough. Aubameyang. And, Toulouse are well built. We know that. We know Toulouse are well built. But But that's a bloody good Marseille team.
It's really good, man. They've got goals from a lot of angles here. Carrera, obviously, and in Italy, or Aubameyang, Vitinha, like you said, and Dye, obviously from Chef, and they've brought Lodi in from not Forest. Two good pivots in Veritat and Rongier. So, mate, honestly, I said at the start of the season, I think Marseille could go close to win something this year. Honestly, I know I might have said that maybe when Mbappe was sort of umming and ahhing about leaving PSG or not, but I think they'll go close. I think they'll run PSG very close in the title race. Genuinely.
Yeah, they could definitely go for it, man. And yeah, fair enough. Toulouse isn't the best opposition for them for the matchup, so I get that kind of. It's not that great, but they're good. They're at home, and they could definitely bash 3 goals, and that's kind of all you need in Sorare. If you get the decisive spread out accordingly. Villarreal, we've been expecting the wee bounce back since they sacked Setien. I can't remember who they've appointed. It's somebody, I didn't really know his name. I didn't recognise him, certainly. And they're at home to Almeria, which is normally one of the fixtures you look out for. And Jorgensen, under 23 keeper in goals, probably one of the best under 23 keeper fixtures we've seen, maybe outside of Diego Costa.
Yeah.
Can't remember who else we've seen, really.
Yeah, we haven't really seen many, but there is a couple of sneaky ones that obviously don't fall into that list for whatever reason. But yeah, I don't know why he's 60%.
Oh, Harry is dropped off. I'm sure we'll get him back in a wee second. But Sorloth, Moreno, and Pino. That's a really strong. There we go. He's back. I've just had the wee Harry Trades joined, so we'll just wait for him to sink back in. But midfield of Capoue, Danny P, and Baena. That's like continental level. Harry Boy, you're back. The back four just doesn't convince me. I like the goalkeeper. It's kind of 3/4 of a team. And Almeria, a lot of these players, I'm not a fan of this Baba guy. And Maximiano is everyone's favourite guy to hate now, isn't it?
Ramanzani's a decent player, actually. Belgium lad.
Oh, is he? This guy?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, he's decent. But yeah, probably a bounce back effect for Villarreal. Sorry, after Big Parejo was bench, wasn't he, in one of the last games of that manager's reign before he got sacked.
And then next up we have AZ, as soon as it loads, who are at home to Sparta Rotterdam, who, Sparta got, I don't know if they actually qualified for Europe in the end, but they got into the European kind of spots. Sorry, I'm just going to hide this screen while we get it to load up. But there we go, we've got it now. Sorted. So Big Matty Ryan in goals, one of the best keepers in the star pools and all that good stuff, and all the reward pools. Sugawara, who's maybe one of the hottest prospect right backs in European football. All of a sudden, everyone's going mental for Sugawara season. Bazoar, I don't know the other half of the defence. Both those guys are totally new names to me. Mignan, Classy, DeWitt, decent enough mid. And again, the front line, Van Brederode, I've heard a lot about in terms of prospect. Pavlidis I'm familiar with, but I don't know this guy, Lado or Poku.
Decent player, Lado.
So a wee bit of some new faces.
Yeah, they've been around last year and stuff off the bench and whatever, but obviously Carlson's left. Jens Odegaard has kind of just not been at it, really. I think he's been injured, and he would normally be their sort of right winger and was for the lot of the last couple of seasons. AZ haven't really clicked yet, Quinny, I don't think, personally, as far as SO5 goes and stuff. They struggled in the European competitions. I think they got through to some competition, if that makes sense. But I think it was on pens or something. They really scraped through. And since they've lost big players, man. Tajani leaving, Carlson, they've lost some massive, massive players. That's not to say they won't win this weekend, but it's not going to be easy. This Sparta team's actually pretty decent. They've got some sneaky players in here.
Koki Saito, the Japanese Messi, is in this team. They've also got Jonathan de Guzman, which I can't believe he's still playing football. Nick Olledge, the Scottish Whale McBride's favourite goalkeeper, and Bart V-Friends from Gary's V-Friends, of course. He's became a football player now, and he's got his own Sorare cards, and he scores pretty well as well. So V-Friends there.
Joshua Kitolano, centre midfielder. He's been scoring pretty well. I've had my eye on him a little bit. Yeah, he's pretty decent. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, no pushover certainly, but AZ, decent enough outfit.
Ooh, Sam said they're in Villa's Conference League group.
Who's that, AZ?
Yeah.
Good for Villa. I'd fancy Villa to run them over.
Definitely.
Bazoar in defence and stuff like that. Watkins and everyone else they've got running. That'll be good. And then we've got Newcastle. So they're on the cusp of coming back to the Champions League this midweek. I don't know who their first game is, right enough, but they are at home at Brentford. Brentford are one of these teams. I've watched them, I think, twice this season. They're just good at football, aren't they? Like, they're just, like, there's nothing that amazing, special, or like secret sauce about them. They're just all pretty good at football. But this Newcastle team, no Tonali. I think he was injured on international duty. And it looks like Shar Botman are reunited. Byrne back in at left back. Harvey Barnes starting over Almiron as well. I think the whole Paraguay travel thing might be kicking in for him. Or maybe he's injured. I'm not too sure what the Almiron situation is. But yeah, not a full strength Newcastle team.
No, not at all. And they've been struggling, Newcastle. They haven't had the start that they would have liked. It definitely hasn't been smooth sailing for them, to be honest. And Brentford are probably, you could say, the opposite for. They've really got some decent results so far. And Buemo's look great. Wisa's really good. It's just a case of, it's not going to be easy away to Newcastle, but I think the way the Brentford play, quite counter-attacky, could potentially give Newcastle a bit of problems. In this game, they're desperate for, Newcastle really, really need to win this game. So pressure's on big time with a few players out as well. Yeah,
I think there's a bit of a chat going on there. Sorry, I thought it was a comment to bring up. But yeah, decent game for Newcastle, and you would think they would win more than anything. I think the way Brentford play, they'll let Newcastle get a lot of AA, guys like Anthony Gordon, Bruno Guimaraes, so it could be a good scoring game for them. And then we'll finish off with the lowest I think I've ever seen them in the game week matchup tab. Ever? How far down are PSG?
They are pretty, 25 maybe? 20? Yeah, 25, I'd say. Maybe 30-ish.
They've definitely never been that low.
Yeah, especially at home, man. Like, this is at home, PSG. And I don't know. I mean, they're still yet to sort of sort out that number 9 role, I guess, with Ramos not really cutting it so far, potentially. Obviously, Muani, I don't think he's played yet. So this would be his first game, maybe. I'm not sure. I think he's into, obviously he's into sort of change those fortunes. It's basically France's team, isn't it? Front three wise, Dembele, Muani, and Mbappe. It's unbelievable, realistically, for this league. I think I'd be surprised if this is not like a really high scoring game for those lot. Zaire Emery's been unbelievable as a 17-year-old. He's just been, he was captain of the under-21s under Henry for the international break. Vitinha has been in and out. Obviously, Kang In started off pretty well, but he got injured and he's going off to the Asia Games. Ugarte's been great, really interesting SO5 scorer. Not very peaky, but very consistent and very AA capable. Game in, game out. And the back four seems a lot more settled now. Hernandez, Skriniar, and Marquinhos Hakimi. Got Nuno Mendes to come into that potentially. He's back from injury. I don't know if he's fully fit, but I've seen him on the training ground. And the funny thing for me is, Quinny, we've said it countless times, but like they're never good for a clean sheet. No matter what the fixture is, you just know the way PSV play. They're so expansive. It just seems as though they just can't keep a clean sheet, which is obviously worrying for Donnarumma holders.
And, this team, Nice, they're not too shabby either, scoring some goals. Terem Moffi ripped the league up for spells last season. Boga was great in Serie A. I didn't even know he went to Nice, to be quite frank. Diop in reserve behind that. Labords is good. Nadishimai I love. And, Thuram also was very close to going to Liverpool by all accounts. So, decent opposition. And it's probably... I don't really know how this team ends so far down the matchups tab compared to some of the other teams that were up. Because, like you say, they're at home. And, like, it's still Mbappe and Dembele up front. Still pretty frightening. So interesting. Yeah, it's the forward. It's maybe the defense are not expected to score too well. The goalkeeper as well. So maybe that's what's holding it back. But yeah, interesting.
Dominic says I'm 3 times quieter than you, Quinny.
Maybe it's just I'm kind of just shouty. That's probably just me, mate. Sorry.
Bit, but my mic is a bit dodgy as well. I don't know how. Yeah, my mic for some reason, I don't know. I can never really get it to actually work as good as I probably want it to. And it's a decent mic on paper, but for some reason it just fucking doesn't do what it's told, Quinny, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think Sam's got it there. It's the Scottish versus Welsh thing.
Yeah, probably.
One of those ones. So, Harry Boy, we're at 40 minutes to the deadline, right? We've got a Billy Gilmore to be given out. Hopefully, some people have jumped onto Twitter and supported the cause, supported the stream. If you're having a good time, guys, you are watching us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever we're broadcasting, whatever that platform likes you to do, go and just do all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, whatever it might be. We've got 42 likes on the YouTube at the moment. We need to get that up to 67, guys. Come on. I want to give the Billy Gilmore away pronto. And yeah, let's get that up to 67. We're at 44. Guys, come on. Just pull the phone out of your pocket for 2 seconds, hit the like button. And Harry Boy, me and you will give the live chat on YouTube for getting up to 67. We'll give them the question and we'll get them fired out. I've not come up with anything yet. Have you got one?
Okay, wait. Give me one moment, and I will have one.
Okay, fantastic.
I will have one. I just need to get the answer myself, but I do have the question. So, okay. I think I have the question.
Okay. So first of all, what format will the answer be? Because we want fastest finger first, and we don't want any debiety.
So I'm going to be asking. I'm going to be asking the score, or the the final score of a game that happened. If that makes sense, you have to be like this team number, line number, this team, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
We just won the final score of this game, basically. So I'm just going to say it quickly because otherwise it's too easy to research. What was the score in the last South Wales derby between Cardiff and Swansea? They play this weekend, so that's why I've given you they actually play tomorrow. And I'm going to the game. Up to Cardiff.
Yes.
What was the score in the last South Wales derby?
Now, there's answers flying in. We'll give them a bit of time to get all the answers in. We don't know what's right. We don't know who's first.
Yeah, I've asked for team names as well, haven't I? So if I'm seeing just numbers, that's not good enough for me. I did say names as well of teams, didn't I?
Yeah,
pretty said
sure. Team number dash number team.
Yeah. If it's I'm just scrolling up because I'm. Oh, I did say, yeah. I'm gonna have to go with the format I said, right? And the first person I've seen do it right is Lewis Blaine Sport. He's got Cardiff 2-3 Swansea. And that was the score in that game. Cardiff lost 3-2. Ben Cabango, he actually went to my high school, scored the winner for Swansea, even though he's from Cardiff. Ben, we won't forgive you for that. And yeah, there was a couple of people did say 3-2s. There was one that said 3-2 Swansea. LD, and that was quicker than that Lewis guide, but unfortunately, it wasn't in the format I said, Quinny, was it?
No. So I'm just trying to go through them as well. I can't find the winner just yet. I can't. So I don't know the right answer, obviously, but I know it now.
Yeah, Lewis Blaine Sport. He did it. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what the time. Everyone did
Lewis
it.
Blaine Sport.
Yeah, Lewis Blaine Sport. So
Harry has drawn the winner. So yeah, let us know in the live chat now. Harry, you watch out for him. He needs to tell us his club name. It needs to be the same account. You verify it's the same account just by making sure it's the same guy. But yeah, congratulations.
LD, I'm sorry, he's just said Jesus because he probably was first, but the format wasn't correct, unfortunately.
Where is LD? Was he top?
LD's been scammed.
LD said 3-2 Swansea.
Yes. It's just not the format.
So we always need to be super clear. We need to be super clear on. That's why we always say first, what is the format of the answer? And we gave it team, number team. And yeah, we went for it.
I'm sorry, LD. So, I am very sorry. Charlie Dunbar said 8-0. 8-0 Swansea.
8-0. Good guess. Good guess. It could have been that.
Guess. Could have been that, yeah. His name is Lou RB on Sorare. LEWRB.
Do you want to show us what the prize pools look like, Harry Boy?
Yeah, we can do so for sure.
Let's see what the head counts are like. Let's see where people are putting their cards because now we know all the power plays.
There might be well, the users sort of numbers might have increased. But so what we got? We've got only 62,000 in the Amateur Premier League, which is quite shocking to me. There's more in the MLS. That's not a good look, is it?
No, probably not.
That can't be a good look. Yeah, regardless, we've got All-Star Limited, nearly 23,000 players in there fighting for 2K prizes. Cap 240 Limited, Quinny, is up to nearly 33,000 players, by the way, or users.
Wow.
That is insane. That is a lot of players playing that competition. Fair play. 18,000 in Cap 270. Into the tens of thousands, I guess, for Challenger Europe Limited. Under 23s is nearly up to 10K, which is incredible. But then you look at the prizes on offer. There's 950 cards, so it's a 1 in 10. It's not extraordinary as ratios go. We're quite used to seeing that 1 in 10 situation. But getting into the rares, we've got All-Star Rare, 7.2K users, 500 cards, nearly £10,000 being given away across what is that? Top 80 get cash prizes.
Chunky.
500 quid, $500 sorry, for the top prize. And a star rare. Obviously the long form competitions do kind of take away from that, I believe. As far as the ETH that's given out or the cash that's given out there now. All-Star Rare Pro, nearly 2.6K users fighting for 108 cards, 660 quid for the top. Cap 240 Rare, 16,500 users, Quinny. Wow. That is a lot of people fighting for the 50 quid or the 40 quid, $50. Yeah. 220s at 10K, 270s at 5K. Okay, so what is... Yeah, so you could argue 270 maybe isn't as competitive as All-Star Rare as far as head counts go, and maybe quality of cards as well. People probably prioritize gas maybe more is probably the consensus. I'd imagine they're not too crazy in Challenger Europe Rare. 2,000 head count, 280 prizes seems good enough for me. If I was playing Challenger Rare Pro, or 1 in 12 head count as far as ratios go for prizes to users. Nothing seems too lopsided so far, I wouldn't say. Asia, decent head count there, I would say, for prize ratio. Rare Pro doesn't seem crazy, only 28 prizes there. Champ Europe's, what's that, 50 for 700, just under 750 users. Obviously, we will get into some of these, so we can kind of see now that Star Rare-wise, the boys are back in town, aren't they?
Oofed. Yeah. 3D as well.
The boys are back. 3D, back in town, AR, Haaland, Kane, Kimmich, Bruno, Mignon, obviously not a new card, Saka, new card, Wirtz, new card, Rodrigo to Stegen, obviously old card, Edison. So a lot of the prize pool is, heavily weighed into the Premier League and Bundesliga, which is normal anyway. Who would we add to this? You'd add Mbappe, obviously, if he, if and when we get, if PSG are sort of licensed. But yeah, this is probably, what we got to get used to, right? This is kind of the creme de la creme of card prizes. Tier 1s, a couple of goalkeepers at the top of the list. Xavi Simons is in there, though. Mo Salah. Mo Salah not being a star, that's kind of wild, isn't it? Or is it? I don't know. Maybe it's... Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's unusual. It's like seeing Messi wasn't. What was the post I seen? It's the first time ever that neither Messi nor Ronaldo have been some rating on FIFA or something.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
It's just that kind of way.
Yeah,
Salah's finally not a star, like he's just fallen, from grace ever so slightly.
100%. This is the tier 2 pool. Rashford at the top, Martinelli, Nico Gonzalez. What a player he is! I love Nico. Gvardiol's in there as a tier 2. What a tier 2 that would be. Finn Dahmen, your boy. Soria, your boy. Back to back. Kunde's in there. Okay, some decent.
I'm going to throw the screen back over for a second, Harry, because somebody's raised a pretty good point here. Tactically, see, for competitive lineups this week anyway, something we've not really touched on, right? But there was some risk. There's some debate over, Kimmich is back on now is 80%. People are talking about risking him or not. Is he in or is he out? Have you been following this, your development yourself?
Not really, no. I saw, what was it? Kimmich, didn't he get injured in the German game / not play one of the games or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how. I mean, whoever's doing this, I'd like when was this updated? 9 o'clock. So I don't know. Maybe it is pretty spot on, unless we've heard more from. But then, wouldn't the press conference have been yesterday for Friday game? If that makes sense.
Unless there's some ITK info, because Musiala was more likely than Muller. So Muller coming in now, it seems a bit more certain. And Kimmich wasn't on the radar at all. It was certain it was going to be Limer. So it looks like maybe Kimmich and Muller are going to come in and play this one. But yeah, I think, Kimmich is, not going to get 90 minutes, I don't think, and it's probably not a good game anyway. So Kimmich is normally one of those power pieces, and maybe he's not going to be that powerful this week.
100%. Yeah, that's kind of, for once. I don't know. Has Kimmich been that good so far? Maybe not. And then where we going into then? Obviously, second division. Go on.
For the question here, Harry, as well, what do you think the best Prem amateur team is? This is my shout.
Is it like a 5?
Yeah. I mean, he dropped Solomon now, but since we think Son's going to play, that's a big hunchbacker, and I don't know if I'll be sticking to that now. Maybe put Højlund on or Trippier. I might just stick with Solomon. Actually, stick with my gut.
Yeah, I mean, with that type of format, you've got to be spot on.
Yeah.
In that sense, so like going against the grain differential maybe might not be the worst of sort of situations. But who is the best team? I mean, it's going to change every week, isn't it? Like, on matchups and whatever. No Premier League team other than Tottenham really have a great matchup. I know you can only use 2 players for the amateur max from one team. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know who the best 5 is this weekend, if I'm being honest. I imagine a few Tottenham players should be in there. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Man U Brighton isn't an easy game realistically either, is it, for United players?
Nah, I just hope he gets a 75. And then we're going to go Captain Destiny.
I don't mind it. Yeah. He's been good. He's been really good so far.
Yeah. And with these cap modes, I mentioned it in my kind of like how to play cap mode video that went out yesterday. There's a few wee things about this mode that you really need to get a grips with if you're going to play it. Make sure to check out the video. But this element, Harry, that Santa Boys has brought up, it was very obvious in Ligue 1 last year. Like, you either had Messi, Mbappe, or Neymar, and then depending on which one got 100, kind of dictated what batch of people would be potentially in amongst it, if you get me. And it's Rodri feels like that kind of guy now, doesn't he? He's
unless you get 100 with your captain, you're basically done. Realistically, unless you get close to that, and I mean flat score, because obviously you get the 50% bonus. 150 from one player just sets you apart, unfortunately. There's so many players playing. Let's just say there's 70,000 people playing. A majority are gonna have 100 captain, if that makes sense. So 150 points to kick them off with 4 players to go. It's just such an advantage to where, similar in Cap 270 or whatever, but because there's so many players playing this amateur competition, unless you get close enough with captain, it doesn't have to be 100, let's say, 18, 85 plus. I think you can just wave it goodbye personally, because it's so tough to get into that top 300 when you're fighting against 60, 70, 80,000, other users, right?
Yeah. And I opened up a little private league as well for the game week 1. And I kind of set a wee challenge on Twitter, trying to have a bit of fun with it, anyone thinks they're hard enough kind of shout, So if anyone wins this private league, the link to it is in the description of this streams on YouTube. So you need to hit show more, open the description up, and it'll say enter here or something. And whoever wins this, I'll give them a wee 3D card. And then one random person that also beats me, I'll give a random person a 3D card, and one of the members at random that beats me will get a 3D card as well. So good fun in game week 1 for this, and feel free to get involved. Link is in the description of this video, and if you want the code, it's HUMC. Kind of halfway easy to remember. 1 game week only, so you don't need to worry about keeping up with this. It's just 1 week, boom, and we're off. We've got it 400 odd of these in there already, which is good fun. You've seen my team. It's built to kill. And I don't think there'll be many people finishing on top of me or ahead of me. Let's see how it goes. But the challenge has been set. Harry boy, have you got a wee amateur team ready, or have you built yours? You have built yours. I've watched you build.
Mate, no.
I watched you open it.
No,
I watched you open with it.
Did I?
I watched you do something with drafts or with common cards.
Oh yeah, I opened it on one of my one of my videos. I didn't actually make the team though, and I actually state that in the video. I just picked 8 players just to show it, but I did help my girlfriend actually. Yeah, I got my girlfriend's team up and running yesterday, so she's got her new Premier League team. Up and running. I don't know. I could tell you who I picked for her actually.
Pick your own team, Harry. Go on. Show us what you're made of.
We'll do my own team. Let's do it.
Bring it on. If you think you can beat me, Ugo's throwing it out in the live chat. Let's beat Quinny. Try it. Bring it. So everyone's equal. Everyone's got the same XP. Everyone's got the same cap options. This is the only time we can really do it. You think you're hard enough? This is the week to do it. Bring it.
Okay. So I'm going to go...
Dunk on me all you want. I don't mind. I'll take the dunks.
I'm going Emmy and Cash as a little stack. I'm then going to go Sanchez and Chile because he's very cheap.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to start spunking on my players here as far as my gems go. Yeah, I got 226 gems for 4 players. I can do whatever I like now.
Somebody's
right,
clipping that.
Who are we thinking? Is Rodrigo here? We don't think in the physical form. Come on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. If Rodrigo is that vital, I guess I do need to play him, don't I? I do need to have him.
But is there, so there's a Rodrigo camp, right? And then when you look at the mids, you know, for the price he's at, there's a few guys at the same price. So if you don't take him, you're taking Maddison, you're taking Odegaard, you're taking Saka.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I mean is like there's players like that in these modes where you kind of take a camp when you pick them, you know.
I do like picking 2 players from each team, though. I am a bit of an OCD freak in that sense.
Yeah,
I guess I might not be able to do it now with the Man City, like Haaland being too expensive, but who can I get for 44 buckaroonies?
Højlund is like 42 or something. Højlund is mad cheap. That's why I got him.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll...
Garnacho, I think, was 40 there as well.
Yeah, Højlund. Richarlison, 40. I wouldn't pay 1 for him. Nunes, 42. What do we think?
That's decent.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Nunes. I probably won't play him this weekend anyway because I'll have Son. But my team for this weekend is going to be Sanchez, Chile, Madders, Son, Rodrigo, Captain Madders.
Ooh, Captain Maddie. Good pick.
I'm going to captain Madders. I'm going to go against the grain with I'm going to have Rodrigo, but I'm not going to captain him. Kind of like a hedge within a hedge of some sort.
I'll put the code back on screen for you there, guys. Hotel, uniform, Mike, Charlie.
Has to be Captain Madders, doesn't it? It's got to be Captain Madders.
Yeah, I think so. Do you want to show us your teams, Harry?
Yeah, we'll get into a couple of teams. What have I got? 3, 6.
What's your big hopes? What's your clever strategies? What's your hunches and punches?
I mean, yeah, my priority is always obviously Rare Pro. I think fixture-wise, it kind of aligns nicely this weekend for me. What are we laughing at? 3D?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a funny one. Yeah, I mean, fixtures are all great. Not the only worry. Biggest worry is Costa. Can he keep a clean sheet here? Balde, I've still got question marks over his ability to score well on SO5 right now. We mentioned it might not be the easiest of fixtures against Betis, which it might not be. But the front 3 in Timber, Ferreira, Rodrigo, I think could run riot in that sense and score a lot of goals for me. Bazunu's a worry. Enzo coming back from international break. The rest have really good fixtures. Kulu being probably the standout as far as fixtures go, but he hasn't really done it for Tottenham so far. So I'm not worried, but I'm apprehensive about that one. Super Rare, all decent fixtures, I would say. Actually, all very good fixtures, realistically. Can Aguirre, get me a goal? Other than that, we've got the New York Derby, which we didn't mention, Quinny.
Yeah, we didn't actually. Will we have a look at the squads?
Yeah, we'll do that. Why not?
So we've got Hudson River Derby. And it's a bit of a funny one, mate. I was looking at this team. I've actually been stressing about this game for about a week or so because NYC are a blooming riot at the moment. The team is I think the defense is actually kind of okay now, finally. And the midfield has got tons of people in it. And it's just, I don't know. Magno's nowhere to be seen, man. This Fernandez has done well, hit the ground running. Bakrar for me, isn't he? he's a poor man's Hebert. I'd rather have Hebert than this guy. And I think Red Bull, I don't think they've been doing that great, to be honest with you, but that team looks pretty full strength.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Red Bulls are weird. Like, they're horrible to play against, but they don't really do much in that sense. Like, they don't really score massive amounts of goals. They don't have like a proper number 9. They're just very hard working and not very nice to play against, honestly. So yeah, I don't expect much from Red Bulls. On the other hand, New York have a bit more flair, a bit more nous about them, I would say. And obviously being at home, I know that there's no sort of geographical, like, well, I mean, they're at home. They might have
the pitch is different. The pitch is very different.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I expect New York to honestly win this. It'll be close. Like, it'll be very tight. It might be a draw. And I think if not, I think New York City hedge it by like a goal or so. But yeah, I'm not too excited. Like, I mean, it'd be a good watch if I'm up that late. What time is it actually on for us?
It's in New York, so no, we'll be able to watch it. It'll be like reasonable.
It's on
8:30 or something.
on Sunday. That would be. No, it
Yeah,
says no clean sheet for Bazunu. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict a clean sheet for Bazunu right now, to be honest. But out of the other goalkeepers I have, Brady's away from home. Romero, I can't really trust. Yeah, I'm not really too fussed on anything else, to be honest. But Cap 240, I am debuting Andrew Moran, my little Irish prodigy, on loan at Blackburn right now. He plays against Middlesbrough, who are bottom of the league. Slattery's at home. Duke obviously playing for Aberdeen, hopefully away to Hearts. Not an easy game, but I don't really have much else. Doyle plays tonight against Southampton, and then Cook plays against Centronides, however you pronounce it. Centronides. So he's my only Super A goalkeeper playing this weekend outside of Lebrovic. Cap 240's quite funky, I guess. Zaya Emery's still really low as a cap, so he's still fitting in quite nicely. I'm using he was my only rare 23-24 card, Dario Spitic, as my forward here. And then, yeah, just fill in the gaps elsewhere. Cap 270 is a bit of a punt. Why not? Just sort of leftovers in that sense. And then a Cap 220 as well. Trying to fit in, a couple of boys I don't really get to run out very often. And hopefully Verbruggen starts for Brighton. And then my Road to Glory boys, Captain Kuhaib Driouech. First time using him. He's been injured for a while. I've been told he's back in the side this weekend. Good home fixture. So I'm really excited to see if we can win. Yeah, the guys who watch my, that series at a card, because I'm sort of clucking to win you guys a reward, to be honest.
I'm up for. It's one of those things when you build a team saying, "Oh, any rewards we give, we win, we give away." You actually, I fucking really want to win something now, so that we can actually give it away. I know the feeling. I've only really got one, maybe Road to Glory effort in that one going out, and it's not that great. Serie A, I've got a wee limited going out. Anything at bags, I'll dish out. Obviously, Captain Kostic for Juve. Top 200, we might get something. It's a tough game. He's on to start, last I checked. The rest of these guys should start and should boss. So, yeah, that's something for that as well. Love a wee bit of Road to Glory.
Yeah. Can't fault it. What are your teams looking like then, mister?
Was that yours wrapped up?
Yeah, that's kind of me, I think. I do need to do my academy, but nobody wants to watch that. So I'll do that whilst you're telling us what you've got going on.
I just finished all my comments, which nobody cares about as well. I think the main thing is I'm backing. So I got the James Forrest. I'm backing him in a team. I'm putting him in All-Star Rare Pro. This is not a priority lineup for me by any stretch. It was like the 7th team or something about, but I fancy him to start. I fancy Hatate to start. I'm putting my cards where my mouth is, and I'm putting them in a big team. And hey, if they come off, then it will come off, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Santi as well, like you, in a big team. We're on sets. No Maxi Morales in town. No Magno. None of these other guys who take sets. So you should get them all, And we one decisive, that's 80 you hope for. So, yeah, that'll be fun. That's a kind of fun team. I'm going with, I think Forrest will start, and I'm backing it. I'm backing Trubin to start, and I'm putting a soft kind of team around him. Frimpong, captain, away to Bayern. He'll definitely play. He kind of needs to do well for this team to happen. Solomon maybe starts, probably comes off the bench, but even off the bench, doesn't matter. He can still do 70, no problem. Savio's got a good game. And I feel quite bad for Savio. I've not got a better team for him, to be quite honest. And Jason is on to start this game, and he if he gets a decisive, he's 70 capable as a right winger for New York. And I've got good XP on him as well. So there's some fun teams. 220, again, back in Forest, the champion edition. Getting my Danish guys in here. Just a wee 220 punt option, just a wee bit of fun. And I've got a wee bit of fun in 220 Super Rare with a handcuff Barraza. So if Barraza does play, then I've got this team running half Sociedad, half Atleti. Not really holding my breath on it, but it could be fun. And then I picked this when Lima was on to start. And I don't know if I want to revisit it and maybe put Was in here. But I don't know. I don't know what to do with this team now. I'm a wee bit worried if Lima doesn't start. A wee bit of the magic this team held is kind of gone. So I don't know if I want to make a last minute adjustment to that. 240 is really solid, but I don't think there'll be any changes to this. Every one of them individually on merit looks fantastic and should stroll to the 50 quid. Champ Euro, but like you said, Harry, the matchups are not looking that powerful. And with Starfelt at home to Mallorca, everyone wants Mallorca away from home, really, to be a good game. Braze will be on set pieces. McGinn is playing Palace. He's playing Edward, which is maybe some people are holding their breath in or whatever, seeing this team lined up. But I think they can both score independently well of one another without it being an issue in that sense. And Damen is playing Leipzig. So, again, I'm not really holding my breath for this team at all, but it's a team and maybe it does something. Yeah. And in All-Star Rare, I'm fighting for it, Harry. I'm fighting for monthlies. I'm fighting for money. I'm fighting for top 80s or whatever it is. I'm going with Joe Hart, Captain O'Reilly, and Kyogo, and then I'm going to dress around them. Jersey number gold, and then my Angelino that's on 12%, maxed out of its tits. Galatasaray at home to Samsunspor. So I fancy my chances on this one to get in the money, and the money is 80. So I fancy this team is top 80 capable. That's what I'm locking and loading. It's the second rare team about, and I think it'll go pretty far pretty quickly. This was the first rare team about, so I'm back in works, captaining him tonight. If he's going to score well, then even if Leverkusen get a goal or two, I think he scores well is kind of my point, even if Leverkusen don't win. And then, the rest team kind of speaks for itself. City, guys that will start, Rodrigo should start, All Black will play. It's all good fun. And then we're chasing that big dose of ETH with Scales at the back, Illich and Herrera in midfield, Stuani and Skorupski up front and in goals. And then the big team that's chasing the dreams, Harry. We're going all Celtic. I'm putting my cards where my mouth is again. We're going Hatate defender and captaining him. With Soria, who's at home to Osasuna. It's a really good game for my goalkeeper. So I've got a lot of hopes here. And I'm going on a bit of a limb playing Hatate. He's definitely not nailed to start. So I am taking a bit of a chance on playing him over Taylor and probably Scales. But I think all three of them kind of all have a wee bit of risk associated with them. So I don't really mind that. And I want to get in the money with this team. So we're talking about top 10 is what I'm aiming for with a team like this and the fixtures they've got. So hopefully we get top 10. Hopefully we get on the podium. And on the overall, maybe we get a score that can make a bit of a splash because I'm not anywhere to be seen, I don't think, there as of yet. So, I'm really excited for the game week. And look at these games. Saturday, Sunday, look at that. 240. 4 of the guys play on Monday night. A lot of Saturday, Sunday there for Champ Euro. All-Stars, all Saturday, basically. Where's the Friday night action? It's just really tonight, isn't it? Yeah, so we've got Bayern and Leverkusen, tonight is my main Friday night action. But packed weekend all over the place, Harry. Yeah,
I'm a bit gutted that both my under-23 Rare and Rare Pro lineups kick off with both goalies playing. I want the goalie to I want that to be the last player to play. I want to enjoy my outfielders, a couple of good scores here and there. Get me sweating. Don't just bring me back or keep me on earth, from the start in that sense. Because if they don't keep a clean sheet realistically, it's going to be a long evening / weekend for that team, in my game week. So I don't know. I'm a bit gutted that it falls that way, but what can you do?
Yeah. It's you just got to roll with the fixture list, I suppose, on this one, mate. I'm making a last wee minute swap. I'm going to drop Limer. And I was just thinking there, I said Savio, I'd like him in a better team. So let's just do that. Let's just put Savio in a better team and then de-risk Limer ever so slightly. And then, awesome. I'm happy with that. I'm going to put Limer into... See if Limer starts. I'll be so gutted that I've changed that last minute. But I don't mind because Savio will play and he's 70 capable. Magno in. Yeah, so we'll just put Magno into that under-23 team because Trubin's not expected to play. Same with the rest of the team, but it's just, hey, Magno should bloody feature. And if he did surprise start, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise, if that makes any kind of sense. And yeah, he kind of just fits the rest of that team a wee bit better. So yeah, I'm happy with that last minute wee optimization. But I'm proper buzzing for the weekend, guys. Everyone's hitting the panic buttons. It seems like getting the training lineups in, finishing up those common teams as well. How far are we away from the deadline? We are 9 minutes, Harry boy. Under 10 minutes to go.
I'm excited. Big game week to come back into things, isn't it? From international, but don't be surprised if there's DMPs flying about everywhere because it just comes with the nature of coming back off an international break.
And this is the game week. This is one of the weekends, Harry, that I'm so excited about because we're getting all these new 3D cards coming in as well. So I got that Duffy last week, and he's became 3D now because that's activated, which is cool. And that just whets the appetite for me, man. I just want to win cards. I just want to win them all. I don't care what they are at the moment. If they're 3D and they're new and they're shiny, give me them.
I went on a bit of a. I was just doing my lineups this morning, and I just went over to the auctions and saw a 1 of 100 card, Quinny, that caught my eye. And I did end up splurging £106.
Oh, Tom, the future Bischoff.
The 1 of 100 Bischoff, who, I mean, like last season's, he auctioned 6 days ago for 68 quid, old card, 80 quid, 70 quid, whatever. And I've got the 1 of 100 for basically 100 quid. New card. I'm pretty happy with that. It was at like 75 quid for a little while, then I got bidded up a little bit, and I was like, you know what, around 100 quid, I'm happy with that. I just won the threshold this midweek, like rare threshold, so there's half of it there, in that sense. And yeah, he's just one for the future in that sense. I'm not interested, like I won't be playing him realistically, looking at these scores, but I'm just happy to have a quote unquote German wonder kid in my gallery that potentially could flourish into a very good SO5 player. He has the characteristics that I like in a player, as far as set piece capable, all those boxes that you like to tick. And I'm just hoping that he can get a chance at some point in this Hoffenheim team. But yeah, love the look of the card, and they've grown on me, mate. Since they've changed the positional font in that sense, they do just seem a lot just cleaner and just easier to look at. The thickness is interesting. I'm not in love with it, if I'm being completely honest. But then I look at it and then I think, well, how do you make it? You can't make it 3D otherwise. Can you realistically? I know you can make it thinner and it would still be thicker than just the cards we have now. But I don't know. The little Bundesliga logo. Obviously, the rookie cards have the rookie logo. I think they're funky. Like I'm okay with them. Like I'm not. I think they've come on leaps and bounds, haven't they, Quinny, since 2018, 2018-19 seasons, even though those are like nostalgic in themselves. And I think they're great cards to own, like just because of how old they are. But I think we've come a long way, to be honest. I think the card looks great.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'm a big fan of the 3D development. And I think that Bischoff is a belter card. And I think I was thinking about this with Sesko, for example, right? So Sesko's got rookie cards now that sell way cheaper than any other edition of them, for example. And with some guys, let's say these emerging talents, like your Bischoffs, your Seskos, these kind of guys, Lukeba, who's just went to Leipzig as well.
Yeah.
I think as time goes on, the collector element of the game, also the one-offs, shirt numbers, the ones that are forced upon us in the game with points, will of course have a value. But I think as time goes on, see Bischoff, I think it's a rookie or the first 3D card. That's kind of what people will be interested in 5 years, if you get me. If they, long as, because this feels really like a line in the sand change in the game. There's a comment here on screen. I wish they'd been released as 3D from day one. They've always had the back of the card. Sorare have always told us that. We see the back of the card on the reward display as it goes to now. And I'm pretty sure I've seen people use the older cards in the AR facility. I don't know if they've just photoshopped it or if I'm missing it. So I would like them to, I'm hopeful in the next couple of months they turn another switch and the old cards are 2D, 3D, where you can just turn them over maybe and you see the back of it. It doesn't need to be this whole, like it does now, just sits and glistens. Maybe it's static and you can click and flip and you just see the back of it still, so it's still just like a card. Because they do have the back of it, so there's no reason. I don't think you couldn't do that. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I can't think of a reason realistically. Well, it depends. Like the way they were speaking about it, like you can't change the metadata, can you, on these cards, right? So like they're on the
But it's already
blockchain
there.
and that's them.
The
Yeah,
back's already
well,
there.
right, but they're saying is you can just use Sorare's platform, i.e., website, as the glasses, if that makes sense. So you could just add the back if there wasn't a back or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? You can make them 3D. They can make them 3D on their website, but they might not be 3D like if you were to like export them to a fucking wallet or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
only 3D on the Sorare app / whatever. So yeah, I think that's a possibility. Does that take away though from the new cards though, Quinny, in a weird way?
I think I think that you want as much of the game to be as uniform as possible. You know, where it's like,
You do, but
like
then do you want to be able to show progress though in that sense? Like it's
yeah.
taken us X amount of years of cards to get the 3D. Like it shows that we've gone somewhere. If you just then put in all the old ones 3D, does
But
that make these new ones really funky?
but
I don't
but
think
if
it
the
does. I think it takes away.
but if the backs kind of match the design of the front, in terms of like the style of it, etc., then the back will be like cool as well. It'll be like, oh, it's like an old. If it's that same color
Yeah,
palette and the same design format, just mirrored on the back some way, then I think the old ones, I don't think they would take anything away from the new ones, if anything. I think it would just. So again, like the way I think about this stuff is, you want as little why is that difference as possible. Like for the kickoff
yeah,
mode, for example. See when they announced the new kickoff mode and all that, oh, we're still messing about with names or whatever. The first thing I said to them was, the kickoff mode that we currently have, you should just call that semi-pro, because that's already the mode you have at common. It's the same mode basically, and then maybe fits
yeah.
into your whole pro thing a bit better, whatever, blah blah blah. But anyway, you want, like in that instance, semi-pro, pro, 240. You want all the things to be consistent all the way through. Where it's, oh, that's just the super rare one, or that's just the new season, or that's the 23-24 season one that is like 3D, does this, but these other ones are just. But so yeah, I think you want as little to be definitively different from each other as possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that personally. I think keeping these ones 3D as the first ones, I think that differentiates them, and it gives them a higher intrinsic value. I think they're worth more because of it in a weird way. Yeah, LD says, "Am I an idiot? Does these 3D cards actually have any utility?" No, other than like you can use the AR thing. So you could argue there is something. There's no like in-game utility, but there is. You can click them on the flipping app that has AR
The
if you
hope
don't
is
care
as
about it.
well that it'll come, when you're like in the club shop or
Yeah,
in stadium or something like that. I would say there's a hope that there is something to them, and
yeah.
then me has got a great point here as well, which we'll soon find out tonight. When rewards come out, is there new animation that's going to be along with reward openings? So we'll see that
Interesting.
tonight, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, they can't be because we've already had new cards, right? So like, oh, but I
Not the
guess
three, not the
they've
3D,
turned on the
3D.
3D-ness. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think there will be, if I'm being honest.
Oh mate, I
Maybe
think there should be. I'll be disappointed if it's the exact same.
there should be, but I can guarantee you there won't be right now. There won't be. I'm sorry.
A Harry trades guarantee.
Yeah, I'd be very. I'd like to bet good money that they wouldn't just like, let us find that out, if that makes sense, tonight. Like I think they would have told us in advance, personally, but maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm fine. I'll be fine if I am wrong in that sense. I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I just can't see that, to be honest. From there, I think it needs to come though. You're right. It is something that needs to change, like an AR pack opening or prize opening situation where like the FIFA thing, like the FIFA animation. There definitely needs to be something along the lines of that. I really do think there needs to be.
Ooh, yeah, like,
Did you
oh,
see that
where is it?
guy? And
I've
Johnson,
seen
what's
it.
that? Did you guys see the tweet about the idea of Sorare Duo that Nicholas replied to? No, I didn't.
So somebody put a concept out of like teaming up with people on leaderboards kind of
Okay.
thing.
Well,
And
I'm
Nicholas
in.
responded saying, interesting. So it's definitely going to go on the idea board, you think?
Did you see, or did you, anyone in the chat as well, and you can obviously, did you get an email saying like, do you want to be part of the beta for the kickoff?
I don't think so, but I'll double check
I had a
spam
little
filters and
email
stuff.
a couple of days ago to say, let's see if I can find it for us. Here we go. 13th of September. It was sent to me just to give you a bit of a time reference. But yeah, we need Sorare managers to help test the beta for our new kickoff mode. Sign up below, basically. I haven't had another. I did sign up. I haven't had an email back. It was just a questionnaire saying, like, how many times did you watch games over the week and why did you play Sorare, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, let me know. Oh yeah, me SSV says he did. But yeah, we are past the deadline, Quinny, aren't we?
We are locked and loaded. 4:07 is happening, guys. Fantastic. The whole chat is checking their emails now to see if they're on the thing. Feel free to stick away. I was going to say as well, if I can do a little shameless plug, you did say bet good money, and I just hit a little bell off. Guys, there's a pinned comment in the live chat. Now, QuinBet have been sponsoring the channel for the last 12 weeks or so, and they're going to be sponsoring it for another good 10 or 12 weeks. They've signed on with us again, which is fantastic. And if you are doing any gambling anyway, guys, there's a free bet in there for you that supports the channel. It's 18 plus, UK only. Gamble responsibly. Check the T's and C's on the website, all that good stuff. But it's 50% back as a free bet. Maximum £35 on that. New customers only. I'm trying to remember all the terms and conditions, so I normally do a little script that's approved. This is kind of ad hoc just because it came to mind earlier. But yeah, how good is this, guys? The guys at QuinBet have enhanced their UK welcome offer where you can now get a free bet up to £35. It's for UK customers only. Sign up using the link in the description or the pinned comment. Check out full terms and conditions. Looks really good to me, but it's 18 plus and always gamble responsibly. That's all the bits in the spiel. I've remembered to say them all. But yeah, so check that out. Supports the channel in a big, big way. You've got no idea, please. So if you're doing that stuff anyway, wouldn't actively encourage you. But if you're doing it anyway, going to do it over there. Cheers.
100%. I was just going to say, game week 408 is now the first game week with the new Cap 240 XPs, 280 points required. So all that comes into play now this midweek. So make sure so it already says actually 280 points now to win the $50. And yeah, so I guess let's have a look, see if it shows us the XP. Yeah, I mean, I think it already showed us maybe, but yeah, XP is now. I was speaking to Feder last night. I think cards with massive XP now just become so much more valuable, right, Quinny? Are we disregarding that maybe as a community? Is that not being talked about as much as it maybe should?
Can you?
I think it's massive.
Can you ask me that a question again? Sorry.
Me?
Yeah.
What, the 240 one or the?
Or were you asking the chat? Sorry. So there's just been a comment there, Charlie, saying that he's moving straight on to looking up the Laird. So I just remembered that's going on out as a premiere on Sorare TV. And what I've done is I normally do, but I haven't done for a while. I just went and done it there. I got distracted. Is as soon as I hit end this stream, everyone's going to get taken straight over to that channel to watch that show. So that's good. But I've just went and done that. And I was distracted and I didn't hear your question. I'm really sorry.
No, you're fine. Oh, sorry. I was just saying, obviously with, XP in cap mode / or in the, the modes that make you, money in that sense, cash, ETH, whatever. Surely cards with massive XP, like a lot, older cards that have massive XPs and newer cards, obviously, because they come with a 5%. Surely they become not exponentially more expensive than the same card that has no XP, but surely I think the gap has to widen. Before, I know it's always been the case. If you have a vert on, max XP, it's 10%ed out.
Yep.
Compared to a wort that was last season's card but hasn't got any XP. Let's say it's on 0. That 10% to 0, I think the price difference is huge now. It has to be, right? I guess you wouldn't really use a vert in Cap 240 though, in a weird way. So it depends on the card, doesn't it? Because it has to be a Cap 240 friendly L15 card, right? But I do think XP now is as valuable as it's ever been, because that's what's going to aid you now in winning, winning the ETH / cash, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think, it is 100% going to play much more of a part, but you've hit the nail on the head of what I was thinking. Is it's going to be for the cap mode guys, that'll make the difference. And what will it make the difference between selling, with the floor's 40 quid, you'll get away with selling for 47 or 52 or something, or, if it's somebody a bit more punchy, maybe instead of selling for 150, you get 190 or something like that, because
Johnny's saying his high XP card, sorry, Quinny, I've never sold at a higher price, to be honest. Well, that might be true, Johnny, but this is the first game week that's open. Do you know what I mean? Game week 408 is the first time it actually makes a difference, realistically, in 240, because the 240 competitions are so important to the ecosystem of Sorare / people. That's how people, that's the entry point, realistically, isn't it? Outside of amateurs. So, why would your cards sell for more before? That wasn't a rule. The rule is now. The rule is a thing right now. It might take a couple of weeks to get people acclimatized to it. Might not happen this midweek because it's a midweek, but I think these next few weekends when people start to realize, well, hang on a minute, I get a massive advantage if I have a 10% vert over a 0%, you know what I'm saying, or a 2% vert or whatever it is. I think it's massive. Yeah, of course it's not the first week it matters, but it's the first week it matters in 240. Like, that's the main competition that people play this game on, if we're being honest. There was 33,000 people playing Cap 240 Limited.
I think on that note, guys, everyone have great luck over the game week. Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure. And we're about to see a wee bit more of Harry, because as I hit end and wish you all good luck for the game week, you're going to get taken to the latest episode of Looking Up with Laird, featuring Harry Trades, Laird and Sam Ty, the football guy. Good luck to everyone this week. And yeah, I'll see you when I'm on the podium. Hail, hail.